National Teachers Organisation estimates up to 1,500 primary teachers are currently unavailable to work due to COVID-19. General Secretary John Boyle says contact tracing needs to resume in classrooms to deal with the high levels of infection.
We actually heard yesterday morning that 10,503 primary school children have COVID-19 confirmed, and we figured from our survey that we have up to 1,500 primary teachers testing positive as well. So we needed two departments to step in urgently. Education have certainly done their bit. Now we certainly need public health to play their part, making schools safer by reinstating risk assessments and contact tracing.
PCR testing capacity needs to be increased, according to the Social Democrats. No appointments are available for numerous test centres around the country, with GPs calling for more walk-in community testing centres. 3,666 cases of COVID were detected yesterday, while 638 patients with the virus are in hospital. Social Democrats co-leader Roisin Shortall says while testing capacity has increased in recent days, it's still not meeting demand.
The advice is to people to do the right thing, to get tested once you have symptoms. And where people go to do that, it's not possible. And what that results in is that very often those people, rather than self-isolating, will continue to plough on and think it's, hope it's just a flu or something like that.
The HSE has confirmed that work on the new community hospital in Letterkenny is expected to commence in the third quarter of next year. The 110-bed unit will provide long and short stay beds as well as a rehabilitation unit. An update report on the project, as requested by Councillor Ciaran Brogan, revealed that it is currently at design stage and is scheduled to go out to tender early 2022. And boosters for the over 50s won't start to be administered until the end of the year. The HSE says boosters for the medically vulnerable will be completed first. Boosters for the over 50s were given the green light over a week ago. Head of the HSE's vaccination and test and trace programmes, Damien McCallion, says they're working through some cohorts at the same time.
Because of the eligibility criteria for 5 months, we're paralleling some of the cohorts in order to keep the volume moving through all of our channels, our vaccine centres, our GPs and our pharmacies. And then going back to your question in relation to the medically vulnerable, which is a large group of close to 500,000, we will intend to start those now probably next week so that they will also run in parallel.
A cloudy start today with a band of rain spreading from the northwest. The rain will clear through the morning, followed by sunny spells and scattered showers, with a chance of isolated hail showers. Feeling cold with afternoon temperatures of 5 to 7 degrees. We're back with more at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
From the creators of Moana and Frozen, Disney's Encanto.
A lot of people want to know about my family. Well, we have a magical house and magic gifts.
What's your gift?
Mirabel didn't get one.
Coming only to cinemas Wednesday, November 24th.
The magic is in danger.
This is my chance. I will save the magic. Wait, how do I save the magic?
With original songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Disney's Encanto. Don't miss it in cinemas Wednesday, November 24th. Certificate PG.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres ready for winter. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
And a very good morning to you. 4 minutes past 9, nearly 5 minutes past 9. It's Wednesday, it's the 24th of November. How are you? Are you well? Good. Hopefully you'll stay with us and enjoy the show. Lots coming up on the programme. Lots of interesting subjects. We want your views, of course, as always. How do you get in touch with us? For those tuning in for the first time, you WhatsApp us or you text us on this number. It's 086 60 25,000 086 60 25,000. If you're listening outside the Republic on your smart speaker or online, 00353 86 60 25,000. Your telephone calls to Michaela this morning are on 07491 25,000. And good morning as you join us to watch the programme on Facebook and on YouTube. You're very welcome along. Feel free to say hello. Leave your comments there as well. We pick them up. We're / Highland Hub on Facebook, / Highland Radio News and Sport, or on Highland Radio Ireland on YouTube. You can go onto our website, highlandradio.com. There's a link there at the top of the page. Click in and watch if you want to. And emails, did I mention emails? Comments at highlandradio.com, and we still occasionally get the odd letter via the post. Greg Hughes, Highland Radio, Mountaintop, Letterkenny will get me. The papers this morning, the Donegal Post, the family of a Donegal man who was shot dead by a Royal Ulster Constabulary patrol in 1973 close to the border have met with the officials from the Department of Foreign Affairs as part of a campaign for a new inquest into his death. Pettigo man Michael Leonard was 24 when he was killed on a Fermanagh road between Bleak and Pettigo. Mr. Leonard, who was a disqualified driver, was shot in the back by RUC officers who were following his car in a Land Rover. The front page of the Inish Times asks question this morning: is more than €1 million of taxpayers' money going to go down the drain as a result of Donegal County Council's purchase of 5 Mica-affected houses in Buncrana? More on that inside the paper. The Irish Independent this morning tells us that the number of creches and childcare facilities hit by COVID-19 has soared by 500% in just 6 weeks as the virus surges in communities. A total of 98 childcare settings have seen cases of COVID in just over a fortnight, with early years centres accounting for almost 1 in 10 cases of the virus. In the under fours, the Taoiseach has confirmed that antigen testing will now be extended to creches. So it's not snake oil after all. Data from TUSA, the HSE and the Health Protection Surveillance Centre revealed that rates of COVID-19 notifications have increased by over 500% in childcare settings over the past 6 weeks. It's emerged that in one creche, 13 children in a pod tested positive for COVID-19 after an adult care worker complained of feeling unwell. All the children were asymptomatic, and we would be led to believe that all 13 of those children more likely caught COVID in the community and then just happened to be in the same pod and tested positive in the creche. The Irish Times this morning: no further COVID restrictions will be imposed by the government this week as ministers and public health officials wait until at least the end of next week before deciding if further measures are required to tackle the fourth wave. And it's an interesting period we live in. A lot of speculation from one source that something's coming mid-December. Who's to say? My gut feeling would be that they want the money in the economy. But anyway, we shall wait and see. But in reality, in terms of the hospital situation, this week and next week, the die is cast. Okay, I mean, those cases were caught at the start of November. That's just the way it works. As it relates to the impact on hospitals, last week in November, first week in December, that's happening now. That's, we will be, those cases will be caught now, or even maybe a little bit beyond. So really, I suppose they're looking at the positivity rate, which has steadied off. It seems to be steady, the positivity rate, which is a good indicator. Case numbers are going to be pretty high tonight because they undercounted them yesterday. So anyone who looked at yesterday's figures and thought, all right, mid 3,000s, that's good, isn't it? No, well, it's going to probably go over 5,000 this evening because they don't count them on any given day, and it's up and down like a fiddler's elbow, I think an old saying used to go. But hospitalisations are under 600 again. They've gone down. ICU numbers remaining around about 130. So I don't know what metric they use to make these decisions. It's not fully clear, really, and how much of it is about COVID, how much of it is about the inability for the underfunded, under-resourced health service actually cope with a relatively few amount of cases. Who's to say? We don't know what the metrics are. We just know staff are under incredible pressure, doing really great work and in almost impossible decisions. They are the heroes. They're the ones that are keeping things moving. But ministers and officials said they saw a tentative sign. The huge recent spike in infections, hospital cases and ICU admissions were beginning to abate, though Taoiseach Leo Varadkar said it was too early to be definitive. Meanwhile, plans for the state to subsidise antigen tests, bringing the cost down to €2 or €3, have been further delayed and may now not be ready for approval until next week. Sure, what's the rush? There's no panic on that. Mid-2022 will do, won't it? Irish Daily Mail: families who have not seen their loved ones in months and in some cases years face rocketing prices to fly home this Christmas as airlines hike fares to make up lost profits and reduced capacity. Some one-way flights from the UK are close to €500. Now, in fairness, I'm not defending the airlines for a moment, but they used the last Saturday before Christmas as their test day. Now, flying on a Saturday is expensive at any time of the year, but they've built this story around trying to book a flight from London to Dublin on the last Saturday before Christmas, which I'm not sure it's fully reflective, and it might discourage people from checking because I'm sure you can get cheaper flights. But we do know that airlines, as soon as they get down to the last few seats, they ramp the price up. There's no surprise. It's got nothing to do with COVID. They've been doing this for absolute years. We've seen it, haven't we? You check that, you check a seat, it's like 30 quid or something, and then you say, check it a week later, there's only 4 or 5 seats left, and it's up around 300 or 400. It's happened since the planes took off. But anyway, they go on to say, after many suffered the disappointment last year of not being able to spend the festive season with their families due to lockdowns and travel bans, most travellers had pinned their hopes on spending Christmas at home this year. However, skyrocketing prices have forced many to rethink their plans and fly earlier and later than planned. And you know, there are people knew what they were going to be doing in early November and got those flights on those dates pretty cheap. But anyway, it's expensive to fly. The Irish Daily Star, and we might be covering this a little later on to try and get some answers to this story because it's a peculiar one. RTE was under fire last night after a senator slammed the state broadcaster for dropping Andrew McGinley, a Donegal man, from the Late Late Show lineup following a letter of complaint. Mr McGinley, whose children, Connor 9, Dara 7 and 3-year-old Carla, were killed by their mother, Deirdre Morley. He was due to appear on the RTE show on October 8th. In May, Ms Morley was found not guilty by reason of insanity of murdering the children in their Dublin home. Mr McGinley was due to appear on the Late Show to raise awareness of his charity, as Dara did, and he spoke to us about that charity on this programme. He was scheduled to be on the TV sofa alongside Peter Schmeichel, Rosanna Davison and Ruth Nega, but he was pulled from the Friday night programme on the same day it was due to air following an objection from a member of the public. He said, I had brought the date of the launch of the charity raffle forward specifically for the Late Late Show, and if you appear on even the Guards, if Crime Line tell them on some occasions at least, you know, we'll cover your appeal, well, it doesn't go out to us or other newspapers as well. They'll hold off on that or the footage because RTE's calling, and I can understand why he would have moved the launch around to coincide with an appearance in such a big programme, but because of a letter, now I don't know, we can't speculate on air, but we can speculate in our own minds as to why that might have been sent, and you know, but we'll speak to him hopefully later on in the programme to see what the story is. If you don't like the traffic heading in and around the Twin Towns or Dunlow or Letterkenny or Buncrana or wherever you are, Derry or Strabane, you won't be feeling too bad today if you look at what's going on in Dublin, because truckers are causing traffic chaos in the capital as part of a major protest at the rising cost of fuel. Limerick TD Richard O'Donoghue is also taking the fight to the Dáil by parking his lorry at the door of Leinster House. It comes as new figures from the AA show Ireland's fuel prices have reached a record high. Hundreds of hauliers from across the country are expected to descend on the capital, and they have, in convoys that will travel the motorways and into the city from 7 a.m. this morning. And some streets in Dublin, the traffic simply isn't moving. Others, it's moving very, very slowly. And lastly, to the Irish Daily Mail, Ireland has one of the lowest rates of daily smokers within the EU, with less than 1 in 7 adults classified as regular users, but numbers are on the rise. New figures published by the European Commission also reveal 30% light up at least 20 cigarettes a day. So 1 in 7 people smoke. A third of them smoke at least 20 cigarettes a day, which is really expensive now, isn't it? What is it, €15 for a packet? 7 15s, you know yourself. €105, something like that there a week. €440 per month on cigarettes. Over $4,000 then, isn't it, on ciggies alone? Despite the comparatively low rate, health campaigners have expressed concern that the proportion of population who smoke every day has started to increase again after many years of falling rates. Professor Luke Clancy, who's the Director General of the Tobacco Free Research Institute, said smokers are twice as likely to need to go to hospital, end up in ICU and die if they're infected with COVID. The latest EU figures show Ireland has the 6th lowest rate of smoking among the 27 EU member states. All right, that was a quick run through the papers this morning. 086 60 25 000, WhatsApps and texts if anything caught your ear, or give us a call on 074 91 25 000.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres ready for winter. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket in Highland Radio's mega draw to win a car. Win a car. Get your ticket by November 30th and automatically enter an extra draw before the big draw. Big draw. One lucky winner will walk away with €2,000. Imagine, that's Christmas all wrapped up. Christmas sorted. The draw will take place on Wednesday, December 1st on the 9 till noon show. 9 till noon. And you're still in with a chance to win the Kia X-Ceed worth over €28,000. 28 grand.
It's that simple to win that car.
To get your ticket, log on to highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio, exceeding your expectations.
Ooh.
Don't miss the crazy Black Friday deals right now at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Up to 70% off the recommended retail price on hand and power tools, paint, homeware, clothing and much more. Many are at clearance prices that won't be repeated. Loads of great present ideas now reduced. That's amazing Black Friday deals right now at Watson Hire, Kiltoy, Letterkenny. Visit watsonhire.ie or see Facebook for daily offers.
St Columba's College Dunurler are accepting applications for first-year enrolment for the 2022-2023 academic year from Monday, November 8th until Monday, November 29th. Application forms are available on their website, stcolumbuscollege.ie, or from the school office on 074 9131 246.
We're turning Black Friday green this November. Join us by supporting local as you shop in-store and online this Christmas. By supporting local, our communities will remain vibrant. Go to championgreen.ie for more details and to get involved. Champion Green is supported by Kilkenny Design and Visa in association with Retail Excellence, Small Firms Association and Chambers Ireland.
Ciaran's Big Beauty Gift is now available at McElhenny's Bally Buffet. Choose 4 treat-sized essentials and a cosmetic bag when you purchase 2 Ciaran's products, one to be a moisturiser or serum. So why not spoil yourself or someone special this Christmas with our Ciaran's Big Beauty Gift available in-store or online at mcelhennys.com.
GiveBlood.ie know we can count on you, our community of blood donors, to give blood and to choose to be there for others in their hour of need. Blood donors from Ballyboffey and Dunlow should attend the clinic in Jackson's Hotel in Ballyboffey from Tuesday 23rd to Thursday 25th of November. To ensure social distancing, all donors need to make an appointment, so call 1850 731 137 to book your time. New donors are welcome. Visit giveblood.ie to check eligibility and clinic details, because we count on you.
At Letterkenny Shopping Centre, we're already dreaming about the festive season, so why not make a start? Park for free and enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is 18 minutes past 9. Now, of course, we know the Mica scandal has not gone away. It hasn't been properly addressed yet by way of the announcement of an enhanced redress scheme. There are a group of people going over to raise this issue at the highest seats of power in Europe, in Brussels next week. Of course, we'll have extensive coverage of that as those dates approach. But... people are living this nightmare every day. It's not going away at all. Mary Ann McLaughlin is one of those. Good morning to you, Mary. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Greg.
I really appreciate it. Now, I mean, you've been hit by this scandal every which way, haven't you?
Yes, I have my own home that I live in, and I've had it tested and it has to be demolished. And I also own a second property, a rental property that I bought as my pension investment for my retirement, and it will have to be demolished as well. It's worthless, you know. So financially, this has ruined me if the government does not step in and give us our
Mica,
100% redress for all properties, regardless as to whether it's your private principal residence or not, you know.
Yeah, because, and we'll go through it in more detail, but this is through no fault of your own. You worked very hard. You spent this money believing that you were building with blocks, you know, solid as a rock and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
You know, that there were regulations in place to ensure standards were met, even through the building process, maybe, that there was checks and balances, that you'd be protected, so that the single biggest investment we make, and you've done it twice, that is protected. Now, you've done absolutely nothing wrong at all, yet everything that you've worked for and everything that you are working towards is, as we sit now, worthless.
Worthless, completely worthless. And the most basic item, a building block, you just would have expected that the proper regulations would have been in place, that a quarry would never have produced and sold blocks that were not fit for purpose. My houses were only built in 2005 and they're barely standing now.
Because you decided that the way you would provide for your retirement, as thousands and thousands and thousands of people do, would be to invest in a second property, safe as houses. You know what I mean? That would be the thinking. Did it take you a while to feel comfortable speaking out, talking about two houses that we wouldn't sort of hear conversations from Dublin, like, the mansions on the hill, that kind of stuff? In other words, if Mary can afford two houses, sure, she can afford to rebuild them herself. Did it take a while for you to be confident enough to speak publicly about your story, I wonder?
It did and it didn't. It just, once we had our house tested and our engineer sat on a Zoom call just like this and gave us that prognosis, it really brought it home then, the fact that both houses would be doomed,
What does it feel when someone says that to you, Margaret?
It is unbelievable. It is really unbelievable. We sat that evening at 4:45, had our Zoom call with our engineer, and he read out all the results. You could tell by his face it was grave looking, that it wasn't going anywhere good. And when I asked him what was the upshot of the results, he said, "Mary, your house has to be demolished." And that is really devastating. I'm 62. I don't have enough years earning capacity left in me to recoup this loss, This was not only my family home, but my pension that's sitting right next door to me that I see every day as well. It's incredible to think that this has happened. And there are hundreds of other people in Donegal who have second homes, who have holiday rentals, who are landlords. And it seems to be a difficult thing for people with a second home or who is a landlord to actually come out and speak about it. But it's vital now that every person that has a second home, or maybe 2 or 3 second homes, that they make a small video to no later than today, get it up on the Mica Action Group Facebook page so it can be brought to the attention of government, because they are going to leave us behind otherwise. Getting my home house repaired will be some sort of recompense, but it's going to ruin me financially if my rental home is left behind.
As it stands, sorry, Mary, there's a slight delay on this link. My apologies. As it stands, Mary, what is the best case scenario for what we know as it relates to your second property? Like, is that still in the mix? Of course, we're being told that everything's on the table. We've heard some talk about rental properties and what have you. I mean, what, as it stands, are you hearing possibly might be the situation as it relates to your second home?
I don't think it might be in the mix, but it doesn't look like it's going to fall out on the table. Yeah. It looks like they are just going to go with private principal residence. They seem to have. I am not a large property developer who owns 4 or 5 million worth of houses in Inishowen. I own one rental property. The reason why I bought it was because I was living on the Wild Atlantic Way, so I assumed that it would be a good investment from a holiday rental point of view, which it was. It was going to break even and it was going to be there to sell. That was the plan, was to sell it when I would retire and I would have that money then. But it's now, in fact, actually, it would probably cost me, going by today's prices, anywhere between 40 and 50,000 to clear the site, which is, it's crazy.
Yeah, and whatever about your principal private residence, there's no way you could invest in a rebuild of the second property and even get your money out, I would imagine.
Never. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. It's a total loss. Financially ruined, and mentally we will be ruined as well. It'll be impossible to get through this. It'll be very difficult.
Yeah, because
we're having to dig really deep. Everyone is having to dig really deep now to keep themselves going every day, to keep getting up every morning, going to work, putting on a brave face, trying to keep doing what you have to do to get through the day. But this is a major problem hanging over our heads.
And you don't need me to amplify because it's your lived experience, but just to emphasise what this means. I mean, if there is no provision to help you with this second property, the rest of your life, it affects it. It affects every element of it, be it, we try and build up reserves. It could be for great things to enjoy our lives, but it could also be resources that we need if we become ill or if something happens. And that safety net that you have had, and other people do it a different way. They do it through pensions, contributory pensions and all that kind of stuff. You've just done it a different way. That safety net is ripped from underneath you. And that's for us to have that prospect for the rest of our lives is really, not something any of us would want to have to experience, but that's your lived experience.
Yes, it's very difficult. I'm 62. I would have assumed that I'd have worked for another few years and would have been comfortably enough well off then that I wouldn't have been depending on the old age state pension. I would have had another little income coming in, and I would have had a house to sell if I needed the money for my old age to provide for it, for a nursing home or whatever this is going to be,
And not to mention that if you have to spend some money towards your own home, it's tied up in the second property, which is pretty much worthless by the site.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
You're stuck every which way you turn.
Every way.
And also, too, you can't really allow yourself to think, okay, it'll be great if we get a scheme that will allow us to rebuild a house, because that's going to take an awful long time. That's a huge journey in and of itself.
Yeah.
You could be doing that, but still looking across at this other building with no help. Like, as I say, I'm not trying to be hopeless here, but I just want you to understand how we understand how helpless it must feel like.
And it is. It's totally helpless. I mean, it beggars belief. You could not believe that this could have happened to your investment. Obviously, now in hindsight, I would never have built a house in Donegal at all. I would probably never have returned to Donegal had I known this was going to be the fate. And if I was living maybe in some other county rather than here, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe better legislation would have been in the quarries. I still cannot, I cannot for the life of me square off how this has happened, how this has continued to happen for so many years as well. The government now, they must take responsibility for this. This is not our fault.
No, and as well, that let's not forget either, by your own testimony there, you're coming to the end of your working life. A couple of years left, of course, working life I'm talking about here. When you've been working since day dot, paying your taxes, contributing to this country, all of that money, at least some of that money, you would expect that it is there to protect you, to protect your greatest investment, to, as I said earlier on, to provide for oversight, to provide for checks and balances. So, you must feel failed in that regard as well, having spent 40 odd years contributing into this country, that it feels like it's about to fail you.
Yes, and it has failed me totally, All those years, I'm working since I was 17, and I'm tax compliant. And when I built my house and built my rental house, that was all tax compliant as well. It was through registered builders. Everything was bought, VAT was paid on every item. There was no shady deals done, All
right, stay where you are. I want to bring Michael Shufflin in. Good morning, Michael.
Morning, Greg.
What's your situation, Michael?
Like everybody else stuck in this nightmare, we bought our property and a few years later it started to crumble as well. Now moving on, we've got all our testing done. We've got our final report to our demolish case, but now it looks like we're in a situation where we bought it was through a leasehold, and not understanding back then that the small writing, that generally means that we don't own the outside of our property. We only own the inside. Inside walls, we don't own the roof. It's because it's an apartment block, an apartment block of 4.
Mm.
And the outside is owned by another company, which no longer exists, their liquidation or receivership. So again, we're stuck as well. We can't move our application further because of the situation we're stuck in.
And is there anyone to sort of go on the scheme to try and get these rebuilt? As you say, it sounds like, you know, the ownership is in the ownership of those that own the apartments, but the ownership in terms of how one might get into this scheme is, you know, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but is there anyone that could try and get on this scheme to get your houses sorted or your apartment sorted, or is it because it's an apartment block it wouldn't fall under the scheme? You're really trapped every which way. I'm trying to work through it in my head, but it sounds like you're trapped every which way.
No, we've tried to work through it in our heads. We've contacted engineers, solicitors, you know, and they've scratched their heads. So if they're scratching their heads, you know, it doesn't give us much hope. They've made our open conversations with people to see where we go with this, what direction we can take. But like that there's every way you turn, as you say, you're kind of knocked down again. It's different. If it was going to be knocked and not rebuilt, I'd understand, but the property is going to be rebuilt again. So whether it falls under a leasehold or freehold, it shouldn't really matter.
So, I mean, already your apartment is dangerous to live in. I wonder if we spoke before, Michael, a couple of years ago, or someone in a very similar situation in terms of obviously the deterioration of the building is going to have an impact on, you know, services going into the house, electricity and all that type of stuff. But how dangerous and why is it dangerous from your perspective living in it, Michael?
Well, as they were gable walls are given way. You can see into the electricity box. You can see wires. There's gas running underneath the floor. So all those utilities that come in through it, we're sitting with bison slabs below us. The apartment below us is the same way. So you just don't know. You're just living in fear, you know, of what could happen. But at the same time, you're trapped where you can't go either way.
I mean,
nobody there to support.
It is an apartment, but it is your home. It's your house, right? Effectively,
yeah,
okay? We can call it an apartment, but it's your house. If you make a decision with your partner that this is no longer safe to live in and you move out, you have no comeback at all. That's all of your money is gone.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And not unlike Mary, I say her case is tragic as well. We kind of bought it with the intention of upgrading in a few years' time. Mm-hmm. That was back in 2007, and either selling it or having it like that as a retirement idea. But as I say, because of what happened now, we're kind of in that situation where we're stuck as well. There's nowhere to go, no direction we can take.
And you know, another heartbreaking element of this too is whatever the value of the apartment, you're also €7,000 in the hole as well, which I would say is a reasonable percentage of the overall value of the apartment. That also down the drain, €7,000. I mean, how many of us could put their hands on €7,000 right now and not miss it significantly? Very few listening to this program, I would suggest, Michael.
Yeah,
presenting it for that matter.
That's the type of obstacles that you come across as you work through the process. And I say financially, whatever happens financially, but the mental side of it, the kids involved in it, things to get there, that's twice as hard.
And you're sort of in the middle of the outside of a building with questionable ownership, and other people living in the building that don't own their apartments. They're living, they're paying rent in there. I mean, have you been given any scenario by anyone, any theory that might help you, Michael?
No, that's the problem, Greg. There's no theory whatsoever given. We're kind of left just sitting in limbo. at the minute with no direction or no knowledge of what direction to go. And as I say, that's been the case for long enough.
Mm. It's helpless. Again, I'm sorry to use that word, because you're sitting there thinking, right, you know, obviously you sympathise with other people in this situation, but in your heart of hearts, you know, at this point, there's not going to be anything in any announcement for you.
No, it doesn't look like it, unless it's, as I say, them things are included in the scheme.
Yeah.
I said to look after leaseholds as well as freeholds, because it's probably, talking to a solicitor, he said it's probably the only situation where a leasehold would actually have a problem, is because generally people bought like that for years, but it's a case where unless you had to demolish outside of the building, you wouldn't have a problem.
So, I mean, without going into names or anything, Michael, even if this scheme could be accessed right by you couldn't. It would have to be whoever owns the outside of the walls. Is that ownership clear? Is there an individual that would be able to liaise with you, liaise with the scheme to get this rebuilt, to get you your money out of this investment? Like, if it were extended to apartment blocks, is there actually an ownership or a group that... There's not
an ownership, Greg. The ownership was actually the construction company.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Who are now kind of liquidated or on receivership or whatever you want to call it. So unless opening up a communication with the liquidator, that's probably the only way it could be done.
And I mean, even if that were all doable, you can only imagine the time frame involved. Like,
oh well, the time frame's another thing, because every time you start a conversation, you know, it takes 6 weeks, 8 weeks to make any progress on it, and before you know it, the time's well gone.
I mean, could there be, because I think there's very few people in your situation, Michael, could you try and make it work in your favour? And I don't know if this was part of the conversation during negotiations, but you know, it might be cheaper for the state actually to buy you out of that, if you know what I mean, to pay you whatever a market value at this time might be. There can't be many examples of that at this current time. I mean, has that been looked at, do you know?
It hasn't been looked at, Greg, not in my knowledge. As I say, that is one avenue we could go down and look at, but again, it just comes back to the same old thing of being a taxpayer, of doing everything by the book, paying your insurance, getting your mortgage, and then you're left in a situation.
Yeah,
you know, it's just criminal, really.
And as you said about the small print, Michael, who in that situation could ever foresee a problem like Mica, that this could come up, that the outside of the building's ownership could be questionable? I mean, no one could ever have seen what was coming. I mean, it's certainly not you or Yvonne's fault anyway, that's a fact.
No, for sure, yeah.
Right, so how do you feel? Because, you know, the whole thing of a home, it's where you feel safe, it's where you feel secure, it's yours, it's where you go home after work, it's where you have your parties for your children, where it's relevant. You know, how does it make you feel knowing what's happening now, its deterioration and the lack of an out on this? Okay. Look, we'll leave it there, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Michael. Obviously, a very difficult conversation for Michael, and fair play to him for coming out and speaking about that. But I think very clearly at the end of that call, that question was answered. And I hope ministers and TDs that have influence on this situation are listening, because that is the reality of this, how it's affecting people on an individual basis. Mary, I mean, you can relate to that. It's incredibly sad, but that's the truth. This is what's happening. That's how it's making people feel.
Yeah, that is exactly how each and every one of us are in the very same boat. We're all just holding on by a thread, really. You know?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, Michael. That is exactly it, and it's so unfair, and it's not his fault that he is in an apartment block, and of course something has to be done. for him. And we have a minister. Like, not every local area has their own government minister. We have our government minister. We need him now. We need him now more than ever.
Yeah, I just hope the civil servants that are playing their games and sending their emails and talking about this as it is mortar and bricks and money. And I'm not sure I've ever seen any reference to anything they've ever said to take into consideration the impact this is having on people. It's breaking people. It's destroying their lives. I hope, if they have any humility or humanity in them at all, that they realise the emotional and mental impact this is having on people, Mary. It's not just about blocks and bricks and roofs and bison floors. This is about people's lives and well-being.
Yeah, this is about your safe place, your forever home. It's not about even my rental house. That wasn't to make myself rich on, because that was never going to happen anyhow. It was just, I thought, a safe place to put some money into. I thought it was a safe place to invest in, so that I would be able to get the return on it. But it was clearly, that was the biggest mistake financially I've ever made anyhow,
But again, just as is Michael's situation, it could never have been. You could never have seen it coming.
Never.
Never. And will we ever trust anything again? You trusted the system.
Never. It's so difficult. I have always believed in Ireland as a good country. I truly believe that. I never worked abroad. I've always worked here. I've always paid my taxes here. I always thought it was a decent country, but when you see what is happening to us as families, you soon start to understand this isn't the decent place you thought it was. And your government ministers and your government really are puppets, because it's these civil servant guys in the background that seem to be the ones that say, yes, you can do it or you can't do it. Darragh Bryn seems to be on our side, and I hope he is. And I hope he sees this as a legacy that he can leave behind him for good, because if he doesn't, he will be remembered as the housing minister who destroyed families in Donegal and Mayo as well, and wherever else they're going to turn up.
Okay, Mary, thanks for your time this morning. I appreciate it. I know it's really difficult. And thank you very much for joining us. Okay, and thanks again to Michael. And we'll obviously give Michael back a ring and just make sure everything's all right there. I think his partner's with him, but I think that's the reality of it, that there needs to be some emotion in these decisions that they're making, that we are humans. We are mums and dads, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, friends. And this is taking an incredible toll on people, and enough is enough.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
For great fuel deals, contact Gortley Sales and Hire. Large sacks and trailer loads of logs. Also briquettes, coal, kindling and gas, with free delivery locally. Contact Gortley Sales and Hire in Letterkenny on 9126276.
Have you got a one-for-all gift card that you've yet to spend? Now is the perfect time. Go and treat yourself in any of the 11,000 one-for-all retail partners before December 31st, and you could win €10,000 in cash. Pennies, Argos, B&Q, Curry's PC World, TK Maxx and many more. Simply spend your gift card and visit oneforall.ie/win for your chance to win. Terms and conditions apply. The One for All gift card is issued by GVS Prepaid Europe Limited. GVS Prepaid Europe Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
For fantastic Black Friday deals, visit Rossview Interiors Letterkenny, where there's amazing savings on a large range of sofas, in stock and ready for delivery before Christmas. There's also huge savings on bedroom and occasional furniture, dining sets and Hollywood mirrors with dressing tables, the perfect Christmas gift. That's right now at Rossview Interiors, the home of better deals, at Rossview Business Park, Letterkenny, just off the Polestar roundabout. See rossviewinteriors.com.
All ready for next year? Why not make sure of it with SEAT? Trade up to a 221 SEAT SUV and you'll be offered PCP finance from 1.9% and a 3-year service plan for just $9.99 a month. With the bold new Arona, the stylish new Ateca, or the outstanding 7-seater Tarraco, we're all ready. Are you? Trade up to your 221 SEAT SUV at DMG Motors, Claw Road, Donegal Town. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland, trading as SEAT Financial Services. Subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit seat.ie/221 for further information.
At Christmas, it always feels so much better to give than to get. The best gift you can give this year is a vaccine to the most vulnerable people on our planet. UNICEF needs your support to deliver 3 billion vaccines. Go to unicef.ie to give a vaccine now, because it's not over for anyone until it's over for everyone. Let's give COVID the jab this Christmas. Visit unicef.ie.
Fabulous fabrics in stock for Christmas at Fabric World Maydown. Thousands of ready-made and made-to-measure curtains available at amazing prices, on trend and in stock. Now official stockist for Laura Ashley. Call in for a quotation to Fabric World Dairy. Great Euro rates.
At Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, we are now operating out of one new state-of-the-art showroom in Donegal Town. And we invite you to visit our new 5,000 square foot Donegal Town showroom to discover the latest eye-catching designs. Remember, at Cherrymore, you're dealing directly with the manufacturer, which means high-quality kitchens at factory prices. Start planning your dream kitchen or bedroom by calling Cherrymore on 074 9725 822. Cherrymore, 25 years delivering value, quality and service all over Ireland.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we have the perfect gift for the Donegal fan in your life. The Donegal GAA Supporters Gift Box can be tailored for kids or adults and includes a bobble hat, scarf, mug, water bottle, football and other goodies, all presented in a Donegal themed gift box. Available now from michaelmurphysports.ie.
Big plans doesn't mean big repayments with a home improvement loan from Inishowen Credit Union. Whether you're converting the attic, changing the kitchen or doing work to the garden, talk to us today. With rates starting from 6.18 APR, no hidden fees or charges and fast loan decisions, we have the perfect loan for you. Apply online at inishowencu.ie or call us on 93-61017. Membership of Inishowen Credit Union is open to anyone who lives or works in the Inishowen Peninsula. All loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Inishowen Credit Union is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Don't miss the crazy Black Friday deals right now at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Up to 70% off the recommended retail price on hand and power tools, paint, homeware, clothing and much more. Many are at clearance prices that won't be repeated. Loads of great present ideas now reduced. That's amazing Black Friday deals right now at Watson Hire, Kiltoy, Letterkenny. Visit watsonhire.ie or see Facebook for daily offers.
Store and Go Springtown Dairy, the north of Ireland's only temperature-controlled smart access individually sized storage units.
Store and Go offers storage for personal storage, house moves and renovations. Business storage for excess stock or filing systems. Once signed up, you can access 24 hours a day through an app on your phone, gaining access through 4 levels of security to your most precious possessions.
Call Store and Go Springtown Dairy on 02871 278 900 to discuss your needs and get bespoke advice or get a free quote at storeandgo.net.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels, delivering home heating oil to Letterkenny and the surrounding areas at competitive prices. National Fuels, 9137 400.
Okay, so becoming cloudy this morning as a band of rain spreads across the region. The rain will clear later this morning, followed by sunny spells and scattered showers. There is the chance of isolated hail showers, and it's going to feel cold. Temperatures 5 to 7 degrees. Now, we're joined on the programme now by Professor Emeritus of Chemistry at University College Cork, John Sodo, who also works at the Centre for Research into Atmosphere Chemistry at UCC. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you on the programme, and it's great to be able to tap into your insights into this. You tweeted out some images which relates to air quality in Letterkenny, Professor. Explain them to us in layman's terms. What did they show?
Well, first of all, they come from a proper gold standard source, and that's the EPA, that have now increased their air monitoring throughout the country. Letterkenny is one of the places. I think there's a couple of others in Donegal as well, but they've got about 90 stations odd now that can give us information, real-time information as well, which is important because from that EPA information on Letterkenny over the last week, it shows how damaging the air pollutant particulate matter that has been growing. And it's winter and people light up their fires, be it coal, wood or peat. But quite clearly what the data show is that they are burning a lot of smoky coal, which contains sulfur. That's the sort of acid rain compound. It's illegal. They're doing it. And the real problem is that Donegal County Council won't prosecute. They don't know, I think, even how to do it. And the EPA haven't really given them a great lead on how to do it either.
Right. So, as it relates to the sort of the peaks and troughs, okay, what do the peaks tell us in terms of the day, the time? What is your reading of what it's saying to you?
When you see the peaks, they're probably round about 9 o'clock in the evening. They start rising up at about 6, maybe when people come home from work and they light their fires up, and then it goes off round about 10 o'clock when people are going to bed. So at the peak point is when obviously you should not go outside and walk and do exercise, because particulate matter of the type that's measured in Letterkenny kills.
Now, talk to us about that, because the information, the monitoring is really quite specific, okay? It tells you the prevalence of what particles in the air at any given time, and there are 3 featured in the graph that you released. So talk to us about those. These are substances, it's not just a smell or a scent on a very microscopic level. These are things that are in the air. Talk to us about that.
Yes, the particles are very much smaller than the width of a human hair. I mean, you can probably get about, 10 or 20 of the smallest, the most dangerous ones, the PM2.5, lying side by side in a human hair. They get into our nose, our respiratory system, into the lungs, but then worse, because they're small enough to get into the arteries and the cardio system. They cause strokes, heart attacks. They can get even further, get into the brain. They begin to cause dementia, and you get diabetes, miscarriages, all of these things.
Do you know, I've never really heard that before, or never took it on board perhaps before, that these particles, it's not just that you might get a cough or they might agitate a respiratory situation. They actually are so small they can enter your system and build up and have the knock-on effects that you talk of.
That's right. They can build up in arteries. What happens, the arteries sort of attack back and they produce plaque, and then you get a stuffed artery, and then you get a stroke. They can get actually further into the heart itself and kill. And it's all of the solid fuels that do that. Burning peat is the worst of all. Burning wet wood and smoky coal are also bad, but they're all bad. Don't believe this stuff about dry wood burning is good. It's not.
And also, presumably, whatever is going out the chimney is also coming out through the open fire as well, into your front room, your kitchen.
Absolutely comes into your living room. You wouldn't park a diesel in your front room, would you, and start up the engine? That's what you're doing with an open fire. But also, and these are not good either. These are in fact worse. Wood stoves, the wood stove burning. We spend 90% of our time indoors. The smoke goes out the chimney, obviously. Much less comes to you, other than when you're opening to reload. But it goes into the neighbour's house. But you don't get away because your neighbour's house throws into you.
Now, presumably the fact that we have a particularly high rate of presentation at Letterkenny University Hospital with respiratory illness, that is proven. It's not a theory, that is a fact. we in particular should be trying to avoid exposure to these types of chemicals. I can only presume it has to be exacerbated. It either is a chicken and egg situation. It either makes our respiratory problems worse or causes them.
The most vulnerable are the most risk for acute and chronic effects. The young, the old, those who are pregnant, those who've got asthma, all of these make those situations worse. The only way to do it is to stop burning solid fuel.
But we can't look at it and go, well, but sure, there was 2 sets of traffic lights in Letterkenny on Monday and, you know, the town was in gridlock, so of course there's going to be a peak. The information is far more specific. It disproves that.
That's a separate issue. Road transport is a separate issue. That's bad in its own right, because although these days, because of technology, the small particulates are not so bad coming from them, nitrogen oxides are, and they are equally dangerous. This gas, an acidic gas that gets into you and does much the same problem damage as the small particulates do. So traffic is a problem, but in Ireland, without a doubt, the biggest problem, other than probably in Dublin, is burning solid fuel.
So you would not be inclined to go for a walk around Letterkenny around about 9 o'clock in the evening, would you?
I would not. I would completely dissuade anyone from playing sport of any type, and certainly, even if you would do that, is to push a pram around with a kid.
All right. It's people say, well, sure, there's a smoky fuel ban in Letterkenny.
Absolutely. That's why if you want people to ring in, or if you want them to get in touch with Donegal County Council or whoever, ask, why are you not enforcing the law? Why are you not going to the sellers? It's a bit like a drug addict relationship. You have the sellers, the dealers, that is, and you have the users, the addicts, and that's those who burn. They're both breaking the law. Now, there are problems in your area because of coal trafficking from the north. But people simply just must not buy it. But on the other hand, your county council must start prosecuting alongside the EPA.
All right. Listen, thank you very much for your time this morning. I appreciate it. Professor Emeritus of Chemistry at University College Cork, John Soto there. He's works also for research into atmospheric chemistry at UCC. Some stark warnings. I saw the graphs, though. They're pretty clear. Just as you're sitting down to watch I'm a Celebrity or whatever, that's when they're peaking. Look, we're going to take a break. We're going to be a minute and a half late to the news. Apologies. We'll be back after that in the obituary notices.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today. Real people are winning real money. Buy your NCBI Radio Bingo Book today and you could be in with a chance to be the next claimant. It's that simple.
My name is Alison Gibson and I am a NCBI Radio Bingo winner.
As you start rediscovering Northern Ireland again, we want you to explore with confidence. That's why we've introduced the We're Good to Go industry standard for tourism and hospitality businesses. So you know they've agreed to follow COVID-19 safety guidelines, like social distancing, following the recommended cleaning processes, and undergoing spot checks. So you can enjoy your break to the full. Look out for the safety symbol for businesses that are good to go. Northern Ireland, we're good to go. Brought to you by Tourism Northern Ireland in partnership with UK national tourism bodies.
Supercharge your Black Friday with electrifying deals at Screwfix. Strike now for huge savings from power tools to workwear, so you can amp up your kit. But hurry, they'll be gone in a flash. Deals end Monday, 29th of November. Shop Screwfix online and in-store to supercharge your Black Friday now. Visit screwfix.ie for T's and C's, delivery charges and restrictions. Event ends on the 29th of November while stocks last.
Want a job that really counts? Our next census takes place in April 2022, and we need census enumerators in your area. So, if you can work flexible hours and want to earn up to €3,200 for 10 weeks part-time work, Visit census.ie to apply now.
Kavanagh Hooper Dolan Insurances, based at Rossview Business Park, Letterkenny, provides a comprehensive and competitive range of products for home, motor, young drivers, business, farm and marine. Call us now for a free quotation on 074 91 77500. Check out our range of products online at chd.ie or drop into our office at Rossview Business Park today for help and advice on your insurance needs from our experienced staff. Kavanagh Hooper Dolan Insurances Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
At Christmas, it always feels so much better to give than to get. The best gift you can give this year is a vaccine to the most vulnerable people on our planet. To give a vaccine now, please go to unicef.ie, because it's not over for anyone until it's over for everyone. Let's give COVID the jab this Christmas.
If you're aged 60 to 69, you will soon be offered a COVID-19 vaccine booster dose. COVID-19 vaccines offer protection from serious illness, but this may weaken over time. The booster is recommended to give you the best possible protection. When it's time for your vaccination centre appointment, you will receive a text message from the HSE. It's very important to take up your booster appointment. For more information, visit hse.ie or call HSE Live on 1800 700 700 from the HSE.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
It's 10 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Catherine Gaffney. Antigen testing will be introduced in schools on Monday, the Education Minister has confirmed. Norma Foley says it'll be operational from the 29th and guidance will be made available to schools and parents this week. Meanwhile, unions and the department are meeting to discuss student teachers being recruited to primary schools to deal with the COVID staffing crisis. INTO General Secretary John Boyle expects the full details to be laid out at today's talks.
What we asked for was that of the 4,000 students between the PMEs and the third and fourth years, that they would be released at least in batches of 500 every week up until midterm break in February. So it seems that our call has been listened to, and as well as that, Minister last night announced, Minister Foley, that there will be another 200 teachers added to the supply panel scheme.
A victim of the Mica scandal in Donegal has been told by the ESB that he must leave his premises due to the impact of the crumbling block issue on his property. Michael Shovlin lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in the county and noticed cracks back in 2009. Subsequent testing confirmed mica, pyrite and other materials within the walls of his home. It comes as discussions continue on the mica redress scheme, with a memo expected to be brought to Cabinet shortly. Speaking on today's 9 till noon show, an emotional Michael says he has nowhere to turn to.
We kind of bought it with the intention of upgrading in a few years' time, and that was back in 2007, and either selling it or having it like that as a retirement idea. But as I say, because of what happened now, we're kind of in that situation where we're stuck as well. There's nowhere to go, no direction we can take.
There are currently over 22,000 patients on waiting lists at Letterkenny University Hospital. The HSC confirmed also that there are 127 staff vacancies at the hospital, with recruitment underway. With more, here is Michaela Clark.
In response to a question by Councillor Ciaran Brogan at the latest sitting of the Regional Health Forum West, Ceuta University Healthcare Group COO Anne Cosgrove acknowledged that Letterkenny University Hospital is facing a number of challenges in relation to waiting lists, bed capacity, increased numbers of people attending the ED and staff recruitment, which she says is being exacerbated by the number of people in hospital with COVID-19. According to figures up to November the 11th, 5,401 patients were awaiting an inpatient or day case procedure. Almost half of those patients have been waiting a year or more. In addition, the number of people waiting on an outpatient appointment is 16,723, of whom 7,781 have been waiting over 12 months. A number of steps are being taken in a bid to address the increasing waiting lists at the hospital, including carrying out additional endoscopies, availing of private hospitals and an overseas nursing recruitment campaign due to commence early next year.
Andrew McGinley, who was dropped from RTE's Late Late Show lineup, says he would never set out to intentionally upset anyone. The Donegal man was due to announce plans for a fundraising concert in his children's memory. They were killed by their mother at their home in Newcastle and Dublin when she was suffering a psychotic and depressive episode in 2020. Mr McGinley says he was left off the show after a small number of people objected to the broadcaster.
I was told that they said it could be a painful experience for them, and I understand that. But I'm talking about, I suppose, the kids, and I only talk about the kids with love. I wouldn't intentionally set out to upset anybody.
And there's pressure on authorities in Northern Ireland to sanction a fresh inquest into the death of Michael Leonard. The Donegal man was shot dead by the RUC almost 50 years ago after a car chase close to the Fermanagh and Donegal border between Pettigo and Balleek on the 17th of May 1973. At the time, police claimed that Mr Leonard, who was a disqualified driver, had failed to stop when he got into a car after leaving a shop, and that a single shot was later fired during a chase. However, new evidence has contradicted the single shot claim. Relatives met with government officials in recent days where they convey that a new inquest is necessary. Local councillor Micheál Naughton also attended the meeting.
We got a very positive response from the Department of Foreign Affairs. All we're looking for here is justice. I mean, Michael Leonard's father and mother went to their death without basically getting justice here. I don't want to see another member of the Leonard family or a sibling going to their death for justice for their family. It's very important. And basically what we're looking for is just a new inquest, because the information that was given at the last inquest was false and misleading. And also even the RUC officers did not attend that inquest.
Weather now, a cloudy start today with a band of rain spreading from the northwest. The rain will clear through the morning, followed by sunny spells and scattered showers. Temperatures 5 to 7 degrees. That's it for now. We're back with the headlines for you at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning. The obituary notices for Wednesday morning, the 24th of November. The death has taken place of John McDade, Altahalla Clonmany. Funeral arrangements to be confirmed later. The death has taken place of Kevin Quinn, Mullintee Boyle, Glanties. Kevin's remains will repose at the family home today from 5 until 10 o'clock. Funeral mass tomorrow at 12 noon in St Connell's Church, Glanties, with interment afterwards in the local cemetery. House private on the morning of the funeral to family, close friends and neighbours. The funeral mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv/Glanties. The death has taken place of Charles Boyce, Boots, Pound Street, Ramelton. His remains will repose at his home from 6 o'clock this evening. The house is private to family only. Funeral mass on Friday morning at 11 o'clock in St Mary's Church, Ramelton. Burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Rosary tonight and tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. The funeral mass and rosary can be viewed on Church Services TV, St Mary's Church, Ramelton. Family flowers only. The death has taken place of David D.C. Mackey of Drummohra House, Cavan and Letterkenny, County Donegal. David will repose at his home from 5 until 8 o'clock today. Removal from his home tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 to the Cathedral of St Patrick in Phelim, Cavan, for funeral mass at 1 o'clock via Dublin Road, College Street, Farnham Street, with burial afterwards in St Bridget's Cemetery, Killygarry. The funeral mass can be viewed live at the Cathedral webcam. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu to the Irish Cancer Society. The death has occurred of Tony Ciaran, formerly of Muckish Avenue, Letterkenny. His remains are reposing at Letterkenny Funeral Home in Port Road. Funeral mass this morning at 11 o'clock in St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny, with cremation to follow in Lakelands Crematorium in Cavan at a later date. Family flowers only, donations if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Con McDade Funeral Director. The funeral mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has occurred of Mary Ellen Byrne, Corfrin, Ballybuffet. Her remains are reposing at McCool's Chapel of Rest. Funeral leaving there this morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock in St Mary's Church, Shesha O'Neill. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The funeral mass will be streamed live via the parish Facebook page. Wake, funeral and burial will be private to family, neighbours and close friends only. The death has taken place of Freddie Duncan, Castlethird, Carrigans. His remains are reposing at his home. Removal from there this afternoon at 1:30 for 2 o'clock funeral service in Monria Presbyterian Church, followed by burial in the family plot in the adjoining graveyard. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu in aid of Monria National School, care of any family member or Terence McClintock, funeral director. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
At Irish Life Health, our benefit plan helps you embrace a healthier lifestyle. Get up to €250 back on a mix of benefits like fitness wearables, dietitians and sports clubs like your local GAA club. It's health insurance, but not as you know it. Search Irish Life Health.
Irish Life Health Act is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Terms and conditions apply. Call us to see exactly what's covered.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Thanks to Catherine, and you are very welcome back. And you're keeping us busy today. Thanks so much for that. Here's some of your comments so far today. The traffic situation in Letterkenny at the minute is serious. Traffic lights on the main roads into town just when people are out trying to do some Christmas shopping. Just sat at Polestar roundabout for 8 minutes. What are people's opinions on teenage discos going ahead this Friday, if they're before 12 noon? Before 12 noon, that would be some disco, wouldn't it? Before 12 p.m, they're perfectly legal, so there's no question about legality or what have you. Nightclubs are opening. I would say most people, given the fact that these young people are out in school and on buses, full 100%. I presume most people might think it's okay, but what do you think? 086 60 25,000. Michael was on with us earlier and we checked on with him and he's okay. Michael, you're so brave to speak out. I really hope you are not left behind the scheme. You deserve so much more. Another, it's not the country's fault. Ireland is a good country. It's the people in charge of it. And I think that's a given, you know. And Margaret's not talking about me, or sorry, Mary, her name's Mary Margaret, I keep calling her Margaret, my apologies. Mary's not talking about me or you or their neighbours or friends or the people that help with charity or the people that are there if people need them. They're talking, when she talks of this country, it's the country that we live in, how it's run. And I think that's an obvious sort of distinction there, but thank you for the text. Would have to wonder who the other 3 flat tenants are paying the rent to. Yeah, indeed, but the house could be owned by a liquidator on behalf of a bank or not a cuckoo fund, a vulture fund or something. I don't know. It's an interesting question, though. Greg, they're making college teachers available for primary school. What about secondary schools that have the very same issue? Yeah, I haven't heard much from the secondary school unions. I'm not sure if it's a bigger problem because many of those are, many of the students in that environment are vaccinated, so maybe it's not as big a problem. A caller says it's better with the traffic lights in Stranraer the way it was before. It's just more traffic on the roads. A bit of patience is needed. Greg, I'm due the booster vaccination, but I had a positive COVID test, so I won't get it for 6 months. But in the north, you can get the booster 28 days after having a positive COVID test. It's an interesting one. But look, your antibodies are good in terms of your well-being. There's a lot of information out there that says, you know, having had it and recovered, you're getting better protection than a vaccine. So you're okay in that regard. The north have made a different decision. I don't know. Dead whooper swans have been seen in Inch this week. Intensive poultry farms are bad for the environment, believes a caller there. Hi, Greg. You have a mortgage legally. The bank owns the property until it's paid off. They hold the deeds. Why aren't the banks up in arms over Mica as it's their property instead of again us fighting on their behalf? And I understand where people come from when they start getting into ownership and all that kind of stuff, and you know what a mortgage means and who holds it. At the end of the day, the person who borrowed the money against the property is responsible for it. It shouldn't be the case, but that's the reality. The bank owns the bank. I think the bank certainly holds the right to take ownership of it if you default on your payments. Do they actually legally own the property? You don't have to ask the bank's permission to sell it, do you? I don't know. You know, as I say, a lot of people try and get into the ins and outs of, you know, what the law actually means. But at the end of the day, we have to live in the reality that it is us that own the houses. The banks don't have to worry about it, because as well as that, the scheme restores their assets to full value. They sit around probably laughing at us, really, probably saying, look, all those people out there, you know, restoring our assets to full value for us. Hello, wondering, can you ask if any of your local Mica listeners have the same problem? I'm trying to contact my engineer to see what is happening. I've had no answer or no reply to any phone calls, voicemails, texts. Only confirmation we have Mica was by a phone call, no paperwork, and we've already paid €4,000. It's a hell of a lot of money to get no compassion or decency or some reply. Thanks, says a caller there. Another, all Mica buildings need fixing, but it would not be fair if any second homes were done ahead of principal private residence. And knowing this country, that is exactly what would happen, leaving family homes to the back of the queue. And I think I could say with some confidence, if Mary was still on, she would go, no, hold on, you private homes first, or at least at the same time. I don't think anyone would be looking to jump the queue in that regard. What guarantee have they got that this wouldn't happen again? How will the materials as a result of demolition be disposed of? Very carefully. They'll have to be treated with great care. And I just wonder the appetite for contractors when you've got a big demand and, you know, nice, handy new builds down the road, and the dirty job of, you know, clearing a site with potentially hazardous waste. It's going to be, that's going to be a challenge. Mary made an investment in a second home. Unluckily, it's gone wrong like any investment can. She will get her main home rebuilt, but should not get more than that. She could have simply had a normal pension pot if she wanted to play it safe. Well, I mean, a lot of people lost much of their pension pots due to pension funds investing it in the wrong way. But I take your point. That being said, how is it unlucky? How is it unlucky that the government, the council, suppliers, whoever has oversight, didn't do the job correctly? How is that unlucky? That doesn't sound like unlucky. Unlucky would be if the house was struck by lightning and burst into flames, and by chance a monthly payment had been missed and the insurance didn't cover it. That's unlucky. Investing in a property where, you know, you pay a premium so that you can be assured it will stand the test of time, that's not unlucky. That's being failed, as far as I would see it. But listen, it's your opinion and you're perfectly entitled to it. And many people might share that opinion too, by the way. I'm not dismissing it, just putting a counterpoint there. Hi, Greg. Just wondering when work's starting on Stranorla Bridge and what time the bridge will be closed. Haven't heard about that yet, to be honest with you, so I have no answer. We can look into it. For the gentleman who was on the programme yesterday looking for a photo of his mother, a caller says he should check, did she ever have a passport, and be able to get a photo that way. Yeah, okay, that's possible. But there was a time, and this is going back to the 60s, that people probably didn't have passports. Many people didn't have them. They didn't travel outside the country very often. And if they did, it wouldn't be to a place that required a passport. But it's certainly something. We did have some contact yesterday, by the way, from distant relations who wanted to get in contact with him. So hopefully there's some movement in that regard. Hi, Greg. If you catch someone by CCTV on your premises, is it true that it is useless if you don't have a warning notice up? I don't know. I mean, it's indisputable. Is it admissible in court? I'm not sure of what the situation is there. And if you stuck a sign up after the fact, who's going to know when the sign was up or down? I'm not suggesting anyone would do that, but it sounds to me like a particularly grey area. I heard Michael O'Leary complaining that his passengers are unwilling to offset their carbon footprint by paying higher prices for their tickets. That's not surprising, but Michael is happy to put the blame on his customers rather than on Ryanair. I agree. Michael, Ryanair, you've got billions in reserve, cash reserve. Spend that money, okay, on reducing the carbon footprint of your planes. Come up with new technology. Invest further in that. Don't come looking at us, the mugs, paying every which way, breathing the crap comes out of the planes in the air, and then paying not to reduce them, to offset them, which is a load of offsetting them, you know. How does that really work? Does that reduce carbon footprint at all because someone plants a tree because you book a plane ticket? I don't know. Someone's going to have to explain the connection between that a bit clearer for me. Right. Let me see. It's time for bingo. 20 past 10. My apologies. A little bit late going to the bingo. Stay where you are. We've loads to come in the last hour and 40 of the show. Ciaran's going to join us after 11, talking business as well with some business news and previewing the Highland Radio Business Matters podcast. That and so much more besides. Keep us busy on the phones. Michaela, 07491 25,000. Good luck if you're playing the bingo today. Before we go to that, stay with me because I just want to mention the non-winners bingo draw. So even if you played in week 47, 48, 49, you had no luck, you still have a chance to win a 400,000, that would be nice, a €400 voucher for the Maldron Hotel Group. You can book your getaway with Maldron Hotels in exciting locations across Ireland and Britain and enjoy 4-star spacious accommodation and delicious food. But anyway, split up your books on weeks 47, 48, 49. Write your name and contact details on each of those books, please. Send them into us or drop them into us. We throw them in a big box. I don't want a situation when we're doing the draw on the 17th of December that we take a book out, there's no name or number on it. It's so frustrating. But get your losing books into us. We'll throw them into the hat and one of you will win that great prize in mid-December. All right, here are the numbers for today, though.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday, the 24th of November. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S13. It's game number 47. The numbers are 87, 20, 14, 19, 4, 40, 3, 48, 83, and finally 23. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com. Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
New this week in Home Store and More. All our Christmas table linen is half price. Time to get Christmas ready with festive patterns for the table that is at the heart of every home. But better hurry, because when all our half-price Christmas table linen is gone, it's gone. Also, all Christmas tree lights are still half price. But when all our half-price Christmas tree lights are gone, they're definitely gone. So order online before 2 p.m. today for next day delivery, or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Raymond Sweeney here from Ben Sweeney Euronics to let you know about the great gifts we have this Christmas. We have fitness trackers from names like Garmin, Samsung, Fitbit and Huawei. Wireless earbuds and headphones from as little as €29. The Ninja Air Fryer is a low-fat, healthier way to cook your favourite fried foods, from fluffy golden chips and crispy chicken wings to roasted vegetables. And a great selection of TVs, laptops and printers. Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny and the shopping centre Dunlow. With great present ideas this Christmas and great Black Friday deals in store right now.
People don't become successful by accident. You've got to know what you want. So take off your shoes, sit down, reach no further than your tablet, type in Skoda, and you've won. Smile about doing less while some other guy is doing loads. Yawn like you've never yawned before. Smile again about the offers from 0%. Then configure your perfect car and fill out the easy online finance application. It's never been easier to be successful. Finance provided by way of hire purchase agreement from Volkswagen Financial Services Ireland and subject to lending criteria. Terms and conditions apply. Visit skoda.ie for further information.
Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clar Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721 396. Store and Go Springtown Dairy, the north of Ireland's only temperature-controlled smart access individually sized storage units.
Store and Go offers storage for personal storage, house moves and renovations, business storage for excess stock or filing systems. Once signed up, you can access 24 hours a day through an app on your phone, gaining access through 4 levels of security to your most precious possessions.
Call Store and Go Springtown Dairy on 02871 278 900 to discuss your needs and get bespoke advice, or get a free quote at storeandgo.net.
The National Food Waste Separation Roadshow is at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, Friday 26th of November from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Drop in on Friday with your air code and pick up a free kitchen caddy to make food waste separation much easier. Limited stock. When they're gone, they're gone. More information on mywaste.ie. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Milford Tiles and Wood Flooring, Milford Retail Park now open. Large range of wall and floor tiles on display and in stock. Over 70 different laminate floors to suit every pocket. Tilers and wood fitters available. You're welcome to call in and have a look around. Milford Tiles and Wood Flooring, 083 091 0707.
Christmas is well underway at Letterkenny Shopping Centre. Park for free and get everything you need. Thank you for shopping with us this Christmas. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at
10:25. Now, as we mentioned, significant disruption is taking place on the main approach routes to Dublin this morning. A convoy of trucks have made their way to the city to protest at rising fuel prices. Some areas shut down altogether, others experiencing great delays. Gardaí are advising commuters to plan their journeys. Now, Paddy Common is AA Ireland Head of Communications. He joins us now. Paddy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I mean, a lot of people outside of Dublin, maybe even inside Dublin, I'm sure, can certainly sympathise with those who rely on fuel to make a living, you know, because their costs really have to remain somewhat static, but their outlay to provide their service goes through the roof. In reality, could the government do much to impact on the price of fuel?
Well, I think it's almost entirely in their control to alleviate the pressure currently, because as we know, 60% of the price that you and I pay at the petrol pumps is tax, pure and simple. And, you know, we know from the last budget where there was an increase in carbon tax of $7.50, which you know, will put up the price of a tank of fuel by €1.50. And we've been told as well at that last budget that will increase year upon year by the same amount until 2029.
Yeah, but in reality, to make a difference, they'd have to slash tax significantly on petrol and diesel, and of course, you know, that has to come from somewhere. It'll end up going on somewhere else. We cannot have that gap in the country's finance. So realistically, whilst it might be in their gift to do so, it's never going to happen.
No, I think it would be unlikely. But I think what's happening is that there is a push to move people towards electric vehicles, and that is a very noble push. But at the moment, electric cars are expensive. You know, you're looking at the cheapest one being in and around €30,000. So it's not within everyone's remit to be able to move towards that. And at the moment, I think the petrol prices, diesel prices are really affecting average motorists.
Yeah. I think if prices were half what they are now, I probably would try and get myself a 10-year-old 3-litre 4x4, you know, I mean, so I can understand, but at the same time too, you know, your likes of your taxi operators, the haulage industry, which really is the lifeline, you know, for everything that we come to rely on, there could be scope, could there not, if there's certainly no precedent, I don't think, to give them a break on tax.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you know, whatever your thoughts on, you know, private use, there is an argument to allow for some sort of legislation to allow the haulage association to be able to operate a little bit more efficiently now, because they do not have an alternative. It's not like they can go right now and buy electric trucks or hydrogen trucks, so there is that difficulty for them at the moment. But look, in general, I suppose what we're doing is highlighting the issue. This is the record fuel price that we've recorded since 1991. Now, obviously, you could adjust for inflation. 2012 was a particularly expensive year as well, but that is not likely to decrease anytime soon. And we did see last night that Joe Biden in the US has started to mobilize some of their oil reserves, and is also calling on several other countries like China, South Korea, etc., to do so to try and alleviate the pressure.
But how much oil do we use? Because I think we're talking in the region of 56 million barrels of oil, and that in and of itself is not enough to actually, make any positive inroads in terms of reducing price. They really need, is it OPEC to open the supply lines?
This is really where all of this has stemmed from, because during COVID, obviously the production dropped significantly of oil because there wasn't demand for them. And what's happened is that the production hasn't properly ramped up since, and the OPEC countries are hesitant. They're hesitant because they also see that COVID hasn't gone and they might not have the demand for it yet. So there is a little bit of pressure being put on them to increase their production, which will consequently, relieve the pressure a little bit.
In terms of what we might see, because often, it seems that prices increase very quickly and are very slow to come back down. Is there any hope as we head into 2022 that we could see petrol and diesel fall to more affordable prices, I wonder?
Well, there will. What we're seeing at the moment is the result of the peak, which was a couple of weeks ago, where it was $85, $86 a barrel. It's come down to around $80 a barrel now. We tend to see that it takes about 2 weeks for any price changes to be reflected in the pump. So we will start to see it coming down. Will it be dramatic? No, it won't. And year upon year, as we know, it will increase. So really we're at the mercy of the production for now, and hopefully that will stabilize really.
I mean, if there's no guarantees, is there, Paddy, that once they get enough people out of petrol and diesel and hybrid cars and into electric cars, that's just not where we'll start seeing all this money lumped onto? Do you know, I can't imagine a situation whereby there's a sector that will allow everyone to move to electric cars and see any diminishing in their profits. Even running an electric vehicle, when we all switch over to that eventually, they're going to gouge us on that too.
Well, we're already seeing quite an increase. I have an electric vehicle, and the price of charging that has obviously started to increase a little bit. If you go to some of the Ionity chargers, which are very good, but it's still about 20 odd euro to charge your car fully on that. So that's inevitable. We'll start inevitably seeing a charge for the wall box on your house. There'll be a different rate of electricity potentially charged for that, and obviously the charging network will increase accordingly. So there's no way they're going to lose the revenue that they're losing that they're getting now once everyone changes over to EVs. But hopefully we will have a period where there will be a cost saving.
Just as it relates to the EVs, I mean, I think now more so than ever, there are really attractive cars at still incredibly expensive, but really attractive cars with really good range, so that even someone living in Donegal could realistically perhaps do their day-to-day business in one of these cars. And as I say, some of them look absolutely gorgeous. But the charging network I don't know what it's like where you are. It simply is not there. There would be, I think, at least one, possibly two relatively fast charges between here and my home, 40, 50 minutes away. And if one other car was using them, do you know what I mean? You'd be stuck. Or if they weren't working, you'd be stuck. When is as far as you can determine, the infrastructure going to catch up with the dreams that this government have, I wonder?
We are getting there. It does depend on where you are. The routes between the likes of Dublin, Cork, Dublin, Limerick, Dublin, Belfast, they are getting an awful lot better on fast charging points. So some of the so-called hubs, Junction 14 heading down towards the south is particularly good, and we need more of that. I know that I have an ex-colleague who drives a lot to Donegal in a Skoda Enyaq EV, and he does bemoan the almost total absence of charging.
Why doesn't he take the train?
Yeah, because
at home.
Yeah, exactly. But it will get better. But it's not there yet. But I think what they expect most people to be able to do is charge at home. But that doesn't really help if you're going from Cork to Donegal. But look, it's improving, but not to the pace that we need it to do.
Because the cars are there. I think the cars are there, or they're very close to getting there. The stick is there, beating us into them. But the infrastructure to permit us to use them or make it practical to use them isn't there. And it's the one group, i.e. the government's, responsible for two of those things that are contradictory.
But there's a cultural thing as well. I was driving from Cork to Dublin the other day in an EV, and I was stopped at the Ionity charging points in Cashel. There are 4 of them, which are very good, but all 4 were filled with ICE, or internal combustion engine cars, all inside in McDonald's having their their lunch, so I couldn't charge.
And they were just parked there. They weren't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just parked. So they're
not at all frustrating.
No, has to be a cultural change as well in that regard.
All right, listen. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it greatly.
Take care.
All right, take care of yourself. That's Paddy Cumming there, who is AA Ireland Head of Communications.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres winter ready. Drop in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket in Highland Radio's mega draw to win a car. Win a car. Get your ticket by November 30th and automatically enter an extra draw before the big draw. Big draw. One lucky winner will walk away with €2,000. Imagine, that's Christmas all wrapped up. Christmas sorted. The draw will take place on Wednesday, December 1st on the 9 till noon show. 9 till noon. And you're still in with a chance to win the Kia X-Ceed worth over €28,000. 28 grand.
It's that simple to win that car.
To get your ticket, log on to highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, exceeding your expectations.
Ooh. If you want to get in shape or stay fit through the winter and beyond, you won't want to miss the Black Friday sale in Inish Fitness at the Waterfront Hotel Dunlow, where they're giving a whopping 20% off all memberships from the 26th to the 30th of November. Why wait until Christmas to purchase a gift voucher? Give your loved ones the gift of fitness this year or treat yourself to a healthier you. Call 07495 22590. Inish Fitness, the future of fitness in West Donegal.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure Main Street Letterkenny, your destination ASICS advisor. Looking to go further and faster, or maybe some cushioning and support. ASICS Gel Keano 28 with added flight foam cushioning to the midsole, accompanied with a new and improved stability system. New range of ASICS for men and women in store and online. Look the part, play the part. In store, online, mobile. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
Walk the line with the amazing Johnny Cash and June Carter tribute show. Cash returns when it comes to the Alley Theatre Strabane on Friday the 3rd of December. If you're a fan of the Man in Black, you simply cannot miss this spectacular night and listen to The Ring of Fire, I Walk the Line, Hurt, Jackson, plus loads more. This award-winning show starts at 8 p.m. with the last remaining tickets now available at the box office. That's Cash returns live at the Alley Theatre Strabane Friday the 3rd of December.
The best deals of the year are here. McElhinney's Black Friday mega sale starts tomorrow in store and online at mcelhinney's.com. Discover deals with up to 50% off selected women's, men's, kids' clothing and footwear, plus amazing jewellery, beauty and gift offers. So go get what's yours with fast delivery and click and collect at mcelhinney's.com.
The Northwest Virtual Jobs Fair will be held on Wednesday, 24th of November from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This event is hosted by Eures Cross-Border Partnership, Department for Social Protection and Department for Communities. This event provides an opportunity to learn about the companies and see what vacancies are on offer. Job vacancies can be applied for by uploading your CV on the day. To register for this event, log on to www.crossborderjobfair.com.
Right, we're going to take a piece of music, but we'll do a couple of comments first. It's just 4 weeks to Christmas Eve and Letterkenny is busy. I'd expect a little decency would be in place on parking. Was out of my car for about 8 minutes and got a parking ticket. Is there no free parking in Letterkenny any longer? I thought you got a bit of grace, do you not? Anyway, someone will let me know. I don't want to mislead anyone, by the way. Don't presume there's any grace period because I said so. Could you please ask any doctors or politicians why it took exactly 108 days from when Pfizer started producing the records for licence to when the FDA licensed the Pfizer vaccine, but they want 55 years to produce the information for the public? Something seriously not right here. We know there was no long-term information available, but my God, 55 years to wait. Widely reported on national TV that a record 26,000 COVID tests were carried out on Monday. Micheál Martin stated in the Dáil on Monday that 207,000 tests had been carried out in the previous week. 1 News, 26,000 by 7 equals 182. No wonder that it's said that a week is a long time in politics. Must be on a 8-day week. Well, there are tests that are done publicly, so you drive down or your GP refers you, and those are one batch of tests. Then there are regular tests that take place in certain settings that happen on a regular basis. And then there are tests that are done in hospitals for people maybe who are going for a treatment and stuff. So there are different sets of figures out there. And when they're talking about certain figures as it relates to referrals or walk-ups for PCR tests, that's one set, and then you can add on the other tests as well that add into the capacity. So that's probably why there are a number of figures floating around out there. Built my house in 2019, not moved in yet, but I'm told I will not get on the Mica scheme because I wasn't living in the house by 2020. Used certified blocks. Where do I stand? Well, the people at the Mica Action Group will help you. They're a great bunch of people working together, and I can't imagine they wouldn't have advice. Now, it might not be what you want to hear, but there are going to be exceptions in any new scheme as well. That sounds to me like one that should be an exception. But as I say, contact the Mica Action Group on Facebook, and I'm sure someone, when they have a chance, will be able to help you there. No wonder the COVID cases are so high. 3 people out of our house had symptoms. We went for a test. All came back negative. We've never been so sick. So I bundled all into the car for a retest yesterday. Positive result, which we already knew all along. Rang HSE helpline today, and they counted from symptoms first starting. So our 10 days up, we free to go out and about again tomorrow. It doesn't matter what way this goes. The lorries are going to have to be kept on the road, and the people are going to have to keep paying. But should there not be a break for? I mean, I don't think it's only when you see frosty weather or something like that there that we realise how important our lorry drivers are to us in terms of keeping stuff on the shelves. Because we operate what do they call it, a right now system or a next day system or something. So in other words, what you buy today was delivered yesterday. Not exactly, but around that. I would imagine that the government could see their way to giving a further break for that industry as it relates to the costs, because it is such a vital part of this country, I'd have thought. But there must be some other reason why they can't do that. Okay, that is Cold Heart, Elton John and Dua Lipa. And Panau as well. We have to take a break. Coming up afterwards, we're going to be speaking to Andrew McGinley, who's devastated by an RTE decision to pull his Late Late Show appearance. We've read lots about it. We're going to hear it directly from him, what the situation is after this short break.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Get your tyres ready for winter. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Do you currently have vacancies that need urgently filled? Do you require temporary staff for the Christmas period? Have you tried various ways to find new staff but didn't succeed? Let Highland Radio help you source and fill your current vacancies in the most cost-effective way. Simply sign up to our new job spot and we will tell our 70,000 daily listeners about your vacancies. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, during our primetime shows, we will broadcast the latest job opportunities across the Northwest and into counties Derry and Tyrone. For more information, contact the advertising team on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, we're here for you.
Bring it back up. Now celebrating at Zalando, the perfect look for your every mood. Enjoy our Cyber Week deals with up to 70% off streetwear, winter wear, gifts and more. Discover all our Cyber Week deals on Zalando. Bring it back up.
It's the Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring 70% off sale. Get up to 70% off on all your purchases. Up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware. Everything's reduced in-store. The 70% off sale at Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. Stores nationwide. Sale ends Sunday.
Business owners, are you wondering what to do for your staff for Christmas? Well, at Kelly Centre in Letterkenny, there's great hampers to suit all budgets, with delivery available. Luxury hampers are a speciality. There's also vouchers for Kelly's award-winning diner or Circle K fuel at the forecourt. Get Christmas sorted for your staff now by calling Kelly Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny on 91222026.
I'm Teresa Hudson. I'm a firefighter, advanced paramedic. Last year, saw an increase in fatalities on our roads. These are needless and preventable deaths. We all share the road. However you use it, please be careful and keep each other safe.
Together, let's save lives on our roads. A message from the Road Safety Authority, the Dublin Fire Brigade, and An Garda Síochána.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels Pierce Road, Letterkenny for all your solid fuel needs at the keenest prices. 9137 400 or nationalfuels.ie.
Right, so rain clearing later this morning, followed by sunny spells and scattered showers. There is the chance of isolated hail showers. Feeling cold, though, throughout the afternoon. Temperatures 5 to 7 degrees, and we'll tell you about the weather for this evening in the last hour. Now, as you may have seen on the front of the papers, Andrew McGinley admitted last night he was devastated over RTE's decision to pull him from a Late Late Show lineup. The dad, whose children were killed by their mum, Deirdre Morley, was dropped following a complaint from a member of the public. Andrew McGinley joins us on the programme now. Andrew, thanks for joining us. I wish we were speaking in different circumstances, but it's important, I think, that people hear directly from you the situation, and we appreciate you speaking to us.
No, good morning to you and the listeners, and thanks for having me on.
No, tell us, the arrangement you had with RTE, what you were going on to talk about. How long was it in the planning, Andrew?
It wasn't that long in the planning. I think the date was in October that I was due to be on. They reached out to me because we were just launching our As Dara Did charity in memory of one of the children, Dara. There's 3 legacy projects, so that was we were planning a launch of that I've spoken to your show about before, the raffle tickets to win the chance to attend a Daniel O'Donnell concert. So we actually had agreed with the Late Late Show that we would announce Daniel on the show, that we weren't telling anybody before that. So we had to make a lot of changes because we hadn't planned to do the raffle. So we made all those changes. But this for me it shouldn't be about this. It's about Dara. I was being invited on to launch a charity. We're a new charity. It just keeps Dara's name alive. I was also going to be chatting about the Snowman for Carla colouring competition that the Independent were helping me out. And so I had said to the Independent that I would announce that on the show as well. So I suppose the Independent had asked me, well, when are you on? And I was going, well, I don't know. And when are you on? And so that's kind of why the story broke, I suppose. But everybody, I feel more genuinely devastated for everybody who supported me, especially Daniel O'Donnell. He has just gone above and beyond to do this for a small startup charity that is going to keep a young boy's life, to keep his memory alive.
And to help other people. And that's it. You know, I presume, Andrew, maybe there had to be a bit of a backstory, but it wasn't to go over the events of the past. This was about the future, and as you say, what you want to do, keep your children's names alive, and in their names help other people as well. So, you know, I presume it would have been primarily, as much as is possible, a positive segment.
For me, I was expecting it to be a very positive conversation. I've spoken before about the events of the night, and I don't think we were going to be covering any of that ground. By the time I'd spoken about the prize, because it involves Louis Fitzgerald Hotels and Derry Clark from RTE doing the cooking, and Juleway Coaches helping us out. That would have been my 10-minute slot done. It's just a massive blow, because that money, I sort of estimate we could have probably sold about 10,000 raffle tickets on the back of the Late Late Show, the biggest show in Ireland. To be given that opportunity was wonderful. It was just, we were so excited. And then to have it pulled away was devastating.
And it's not about, I can't put words in your mouth, Andrew, but my feeling is this is not about you or you feeling that you were let down. What you've built yourself up to, and I presume what helps you get through, is these positive initiatives, as Dara did, etc. And it taints it. Is that what's the upsetting element of it?
In a way, it'll never be tainted, because, but I want the world to know that Conor, Dara and Carla existed, that they lived amongst us. The projects that I do were based on promises made to them that I didn't get a chance to keep. Mm-hmm. And they mean an awful lot to me. Mm-hmm. I know that it means an awful lot to a lot of their friends at school, their teachers, their football coaches, people who've seen the kids on a daily basis. Yeah. And it's just, it should be about the kids. I shouldn't be on here chatting to you about somebody writing in. I was going on about the kids' legacy project, and it should be about them.
But can I say one thing, Andrew, that from my perspective, what I know about is how much your children meant to you, how much you loved them. I know a lot about them from our conversations and your newspaper articles, and all of that you want to do, you are achieving. I hope that doesn't sound patronising, because I wouldn't let something like this in any way affect what I've learned from listening to you. And I think you've done amazing, and I think you've made your children, and continue to make them very, very proud. And this one instant is not going to take away from that.
Well, and I appreciate that. My wife Deirdre is aware of what I'm doing. The only thing that she has asked is that I do not, when I speak about mental health or anything else, that I don't speak about her personal medical records, and I never would. So she knows what I'm doing in relation to these projects. So for somebody else outside of myself and Dee to object, I'm devastated. I do know who it is now that did write.
Can you understand their motivation?
I don't set out to upset anybody. I wish they had reached out to me to say that potentially they feel that it could be a painful and traumatic experience for them. But the Late Late Show had said to me, bring a few people with you. I would have said to those people who wrote in, I would have said, come with me. And if you feel any way upset, then it'll be cut out of it. I'm not here to upset anybody. I just want the world to know that Conor Darren Carla existed.
And in that, right, let's not forget, there's a massive push on to allow moms and dads to talk about their children that have been murdered, for example, in different cases now I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? Because they were not allowed to do so. So we understand how it is important. Now, your children were killed, I understand that. But we understand it's not just you. There's massive campaigns, it's in the Dáil, to allow people to speak about the people that they've lost, especially children. They're precluded by law from doing so. So we do understand.
That law, I actually campaigned long and hard to change that. That came in about this time last year, where there was a banning order on naming children who had been murdered. And we campaigned long and hard, and that has actually been lifted in most circumstances. But I'm still in touch with one or two parents who are still unable to name their children and talk about their children.
And the reason I brought that in is because that's what this is about. It's so important to people.
Yeah.
Andrew, was a call made to you and says, look, we've had this letter. What you're the father. We've had this letter, can you explain it to us, or what do you think, or give it a bit more context? Was there any dialogue with you, or was it a cold cancellation?
Well, I got a call to explain that they had received the letter, and as a result, the invitation was being withdrawn. I wrote to RTE, to the producer in question, and she sent me an email back just putting it in writing as to why, and it talks about how the people who wrote in felt that it could be a painful and traumatic experience, and under the broadcasting regulations that they would have that RTE wouldn't set out to cause anybody any trauma or pain. And I understand that. And as I say, I wasn't going on to upset anybody. I was going on to primarily, I'll be quite honest, to thank Daniel O'Donnell publicly for just going above and beyond, and Louis Fitzgerald and Derry Clark and Sodexo, who were going to be doing the food. It was to support a small charity like us was just going to be, it's
a massive gig. I mean, obviously we have to read between the lines a little bit, but it sets a precedent, I wonder, and how we can discuss things going forward if this is what it takes to get something that I think ultimately would have been a positive thing off the TV. And I'm not judging the motivation for whomever wrote the letter, but where does this end? This could be employed, for less honest reasons down the line. I just would be concerned, if I'm reading this correctly, that it could set a precedent. Andrew, listen, thanks for explaining that to us, because people are invested in this story with you, and know your children and what they mean to you and what you're trying to do. And the next time we speak, we'll focus solely on whatever you want to push and how people can help, if that's okay.
Well, raffle tickets are still on sale through asdaradid.ie.
All right, good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, take care of yourself. Thank you very much indeed. All right. A tough one. That's Andrew McGinley, Donegal man, of course, speaking of his devastation at RTE's decision to pull his item from the Late Late Show. Okay. Right. A caller says that man should not have been stopped on the Late Late. No member of the public is forced to watch the show. Say no to this censoring. Okay, that's another comment on that. Another, people need to start treating the electronic charge points as disabled parking spots. And, I was... When we were speaking to our guest earlier, and he was talking about people being parked in charge points for electric cars, how often do you see it now in regular petrol diesel stations where people fill their car, and for fear of being accused of driving off or whatever the reason is they just leave the car there and go in, and you often find a situation where you can't get at the pumps because people are doing the same thing for petrol and diesel cars. But certainly more of a problem with electric charge points. It is the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. It's 11 o'clock. We have a busy hour coming on the programme. Stay with us, stay tuned. But it's 11 o'clock, which means it's time for a news update. And we welcome back onto the programme Catherine Gaffney. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Greg. The head of the HSC says we are now firmly in the midst of the fourth surge of COVID-19. Paul Reid, who is appearing before an Oireachtas Health Committee, says the entire health system is under very serious pressure. Antigen testing will be introduced in schools on Monday, the Education Minister has confirmed. Nora Foley says it'll be operational from the 29th and guidance will be made available to schools and parents this week. Letterkenny University Hospital is the most overcrowded hospital in Ireland today. 49 people were awaiting admission to the hospital this morning, according to the INMO. The need for a review of the current ambulance service model is back under the spotlight. It's been revealed that in the Finn Valley area, while there is just one ambulance crew available, no nighttime cover is provided Monday to Thursday. A victim of the Mica scandal in Donegal has been told by the ESB that he must leave his premises due to the impact of the crumbling block issue on his property. Michael Shovlin lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in the county and notice cracks back in 2009. Speaking on today's 9 till noon show, an emotional Michael says he has nowhere to turn to. Andrew McGinley, who was dropped from RTE's Late Late Show lineup, says he would never set out to intentionally upset anyone. The Donegal man was due to announce plans for a fundraising concert in his children's memory. A leading professor believes that air pollution in Letterkenny is so bad that he is advising people not to exercise outside in the latter half of the evening. Last week, air quality sensors found that Letterkenny was one of a number of towns in the country that had the most particulate matter in the air. And there's pressure on authorities in Northern Ireland to sanction a fresh inquest into the death of Michael Leonard. The Donegal man was shot dead by the RUC almost 50 years ago after a car chase close to the Fermanagh and Donegal border. That's it for now. We're back with another update for you at 12 noon.
OK, Catherine, we'll be back with more on the show after this break.
Homeland Fuel offers, keeping you warm for less. 40 kg premium doubles or easy flame coal, $16.99. Buy 10, get one free. Hardwood logs, 2 bags for only €10. Flow gas £25 gas cylinder, only €25.99. Shop in store or online at homeland.ie.
As you start rediscovering Northern Ireland again, we want you to explore with confidence. That's why we've introduced the We're Good to Go industry standard for tourism and hospitality businesses. So you know they've agreed to follow COVID-19 safety guidelines, like social distancing, following the recommended cleaning processes, and undergoing spot checks, so you can enjoy your break to the full. Look out for the safety symbol for businesses that are good to go. Northern Ireland, we're good to go. Brought to you by Tourism Northern Ireland in partnership with UK national tourism bodies.
Tune in this Thursday for all the latest farming news and views straight after the 5 p.m. news. Brought to you in association with Lifford Credit Union, who have recently launched Cultivate, an agricultural loan at only 6.55%, APR 6.75%. Call into any of their 3 offices for more information or to make an appointment. Lifford Credit Union. Rafo Newton Lifford, supporting local farmers.
Visit Century Complex. Treat yourself to a tasty meal at Backstage Bar and Grill, an exciting movie at Century Cinemas, or let the little ones explore Century Play. Call us on 074 9121976 or check out our website centurycinemas.ie for more information on Century Complex.
Something exciting is happening at Dunnes Stores. The Dunnes Stores Christmas Millionaire Draw is now on, with winners in every store every week. For our grand prize, one lucky shopper will become our Dunnes Stores Christmas Millionaire, winning 1 million value club card points. That's your shopping for the whole year worth €10,000. Simply come in store and swipe your value club cards to enter. Swipe and win today with the Dunnes Stores Christmas Millionaire Draw. Terms and conditions apply. See dunnesstores.com for details.
Just arrived at Meehan's of Rafo, new autumn-winter range of men's and ladies' diesel clothing. Men's shirts and polo shirts up to 5XL. Men's jeans 2 for €55. And Black Friday special. There's 20% of ladies' diesel hoodies and sweatshirts at Meehan's of Rafo.
Christmas has come early, exclusively here at iMotors Drumkeen and Malin. Why not treat yourself to a new Kia or Nissan and avail of the fantastic finance offers available on all 221 vehicles. Order today and drive away in style in the new year. All new orders will be entered into a draw where one lucky winner will win €2,000 in cash. Call in today to iMotors Drumkeen or Malin or call 07491345567. T's and C's apply.
Hi, I'm Clara, and I'm a jewellery box ballerina. Yeah, now with work, I'm constantly on my feet, literally going in circles. So being in a cold house just wound me up the wrong way. Then the home energy upgrade happened, with grants from SEAI for insulation, heat pumps, you name it, totally transformed the place. Search SEAI Home Energy Upgrade and discover a new world of comfort.
Supported by the Government of Ireland.
Oh, it's fab.
All right, you're welcome back to the programme. Now, last week, you might remember, we spoke to Councillor John O'Donnell about concerns over the project, the Promenade project in Downings not going ahead because no funding was being set aside in the budget that would obviously not finish it, but keep the project going. And he spoke quite strongly on this issue, as you can imagine. He joins us on the programme now. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, so you have got some confirmation that funding has been approved. Tell us what the funding is, how much it is, and how this helps to keep this project moving in the right direction.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose I got some good news from the Chief Executive last Thursday morning that the Council is going to follow on now with the foreshore licence application, that they're going to fund it to make sure that the foreshore licence application is complete, and also dedicate a team and probably one personnel to do a one-to-one with the committee on an ongoing basis to make sure that they keep them up to speed with the application as it progresses, but also to work alongside that, seeking funding from external bodies as well, different streams of funding to be able to deliver the project when the foreshore licence is complete. So it's a good news story for Downings and for the committee. As I said on your show a number of weeks ago, it was very frustrating. So I'm delighted that we're coming on today with a bit of good news.
Yeah, and as I said, this is not funding that will finish it by any stretch, because that's a different project in terms of actually getting the funding for it, but it keeps it moving forward.
Yeah, it keeps it alive, keeps it moving forward, and for all projects, they need to be shovel ready before you can apply for funding. So this is the final piece of the jigsaw to get it shovel ready. And again, the team that's been dedicated to this now will also be looking at external sources as well for to be able to get funding for to be able to deliver the project when the foreshore licence is complete. So it's just something, I suppose, that as I said before, that the people in Downings have put a lot of time and effort into, and to hear this news and for me to give them the phone call on Thursday, they were absolutely delighted, the committee. So we'll just keep working with that now, Greg, over the incoming months, and hopefully can try and fast track it, because I'm sure you've heard there's a lot of good news for Downings lately. We have the Greenway, the cycleway, walkway as well. Planning permission's been granted there as well for the link between Carrigart and Downings, which is something that was badly needed for a long number of years, and I've been calling for since the day and hour that I went into the council. So another good news story coming this week. And then as well, they also have received the funding as well for the new toilet block and water activity centre down there as well on the entrance to the beach. So it's all going in the right direction, thank God. But
and all these projects, when completed, and hopefully the boardwalk does end up being completed, they all complement each other, obviously.
Absolutely, they all work hand in hand with one another, and exactly the right word to use. They complement one another, number one, but number two as well. You know, see, for facilities and amenities, to have them like that in your area, it attracts more people as well to come into the area, you know, and it'll leave Downings a place to be. And it has come on an awful long way, Downings, in the last 10 years on a tourism spectrum, but I think we do need to work harder as a local authority to make sure that our facilities are up to standard, and that we, you know, provide good recreation facilities when people are in the area.
All right, thanks for your time this morning, Councillor John O'Donnell there. More of your comments here. Hi, Greg. Everywhere it was advertised that Andrew McGinley was going to be on the Late Late Show at 8:45. I saw a tweet to say Andrew got shafted. I'm shocked that a member of the public complained. At first, I thought he got replaced with other Donegal families that were in Dublin for the Mica March. That comes in from Kevin. The Mica March predated his scheduled appearance, I believe. Hi, Greg. Who's the person who wrote this letter and by their actions stopped this guest? They didn't have to watch the Late Late Show. Surely it's this man's decision who he talks to. He's been through enough. Give him the freedom to speak as he pleases. sounds like he's doing amazing work after the tragedy he's had in his life. Now, I don't know who wrote in, okay, but I suspect that they are closely connected to this in terms of emotionally connected to it, and you know, maybe they have their own way of dealing with an unspeakable tragedy, such as it is. I don't think, if I'm reading this correctly, that their motivations were to silence someone. I would imagine they might have been quite genuine in how they feel and how it might have made them feel. So I would consider that a little bit as well. But I take your point widely. Would the ban the news because it can be painful to watch the late show? Same context. I'm not sure what that means, but thanks for the text. If you're on Ramelton Main Street, be aware we're being told there is an oil spill. Okay, so in a braking situation, that particularly can be problematic. So oil spill on Ramelton Main Street. Another caller says, whilst I understand peat bogs, great to take carbon from the air and great for an area for wildlife, but many people lived very long lives in the past with peat heated in ranges or large fireplaces. I understand what you're saying. Statistically, though, and this is not to contradict your point, if you have a look at life expectancy now versus 20 or 30 years ago, it really is actually quite shocking how it's changed. And many people who are looking forward to 20 or 30 years of life with good health, hopefully, would be coming towards the end of theirs, going back a number of generations. It's worth looking at. Hauliers already get a rebate if everyone moved over to electric. Where does the tax come from? Yeah, I did say extend the rebate, just because there's such an important service. If we didn't have lorries on the road, we wouldn't have an awful lot of stuff. That's a fact. Electric, there's tons of tax comes from electric. It's, you know, you don't charge your car for free. If you charge it at home, you're using more electricity and you're paying a lot of tax on that electricity. If you charge it at one of the roadside places, we heard from our guest earlier, cost 20 quid. You can be sure a lot of that is tax. So, you know, everyone driving an electric car doesn't mean they don't make tax. They just might not make as much tax through petrol and diesel. But listen, that's what the point I was trying to make. They're not going to leave a hole in the coffers. If everyone switches to electric, it'll just come to a certain price. The people that are going to make savings are the early adapters, because when everyone switches, they're going to gouge that too. Hi, Greg. People still have weddings and are inviting people. Do they have a conscience as the COVID numbers are mad, or is it only for self-gain, says John? Well, John, they're perfectly entitled to have the weddings. It's within the regulations. Most of the guests, probably 94% of them, will be vaccinated or children. And there's guidelines there. I mean, I don't see them doing anything morally wrong. They're getting married. A lot of those people have been delaying their weddings for 2 or 3 years. Listen, you know, Neffet continues to blame us, right? We're doing everything we can. That wedding, you can be sure that they are going through moving heaven and earth to make sure it's as safe as is possible. But where are the air purifiers in our schools, for example? Where are the antigen tests that they have in other countries? You know, we're doing our bit and we continue to do it. But, you know, like, we need to stop pointing fingers at each other and maybe point them to Dublin and say, well, are you guys doing enough? You know, are you doing enough? Neffets also has a role to play in increasing bed capacity, increasing staff numbers. Have they done enough? You know, we've done a lot and we continue to do a lot. Have they done enough? So as to say, I would look more to Neffet and the Department of Health and the HSC than I would at a couple getting married, to be honest with you.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call in to Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
If you are aged 60 to 69, you will soon be offered a COVID-19 vaccine booster dose. This is because cases are starting to increase in this age group. Your booster dose will give you the best possible protection against serious illness from COVID-19. You should get it around 6 months after your last COVID-19 vaccine. When it's time for your vaccination centre appointment, you will receive a text message from the HSC. For more information, visit hsc.ie or call HSC Live on 1800 700 700 from the HSC.
transformed into gallery quality art.
At McGee's Chemist Photo Lab this Christmas, send a gift of art on canvas. Have your choice of photo blown up to a gallery-size canvas print from as little as $44.95. You can upload online or drop into our Main Street store.
Treat your loved ones this Christmas.
McGee's Photo Lab, canvas prints. Check us out on Facebook and online at mcgees.ie. Parking in the multi-storey car park behind Dillon's Hotel.
At Tesco, nothing's stopping us this Christmas. Try our Tesco finest Irish whole and half leg of lamb, now half price. Or stock up on Tesco Irish potatoes, 1 kg, 49 cent. And Tesco lemon and lime, 5-pack, 89 cent. And get ready to party with O'Donnell's Crinkle Cut Crisps, 125 gram, and 7up Zero 2 litre, and more, 5 for €5. Book your Christmas home delivery or click and collect now at tesco.ie. Tesco. Every little helps.
The Groom's Room is now open and taking bookings for all you grooms getting married. Contact us at Evolve Clothing, Letterkenny Retail Park.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's, Letterkenny Retail Park.
Don't miss the crazy Black Friday deals right now at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Up to 70% off the recommended retail price on hand and power tools, paint, homeware, clothing and much more. Many are at clearance prices that won't be repeated. Loads of great present ideas now reduced. That's amazing Black Friday deals right now at Watson Hire, Kiltoy, Letterkenny. Visit watsonhire.ie or see Facebook for daily offers.
If you're aged 60 to 69, you will soon be offered a COVID-19 vaccine booster dose. COVID-19 vaccines offer protection from serious illness, but this may weaken over time. The booster is recommended to give you the best possible protection. When it's time for your vaccination centre appointment, you will receive a text message from the HSE. It's very important to take up your booster appointment. For more information, visit hse.ie or call HSE Live on 1800 700 700 from the HSE.
Be properly prepared for a Donegal winter and the odd power cut with a visit to Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild are a local family business fully stocked with stoves, gas, head torches, flasks, hydration bottles, sleeping bags, folding beds, pocket knives, merino socks, wellies, gloves and hats. Smile this winter with a visit to Wet n Wild.
At Letterkenny Shopping Centre, we're already dreaming about the festive season, so why not make a start? Park for free and enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is 11:17. Some of your comments here. I passed Stranola Bridge at 7:30pm last night. It was one way. Traffic, one side all dug up. Guessing they're only doing work at night. Thank you for that. Another, aeroplanes have huge pollution to the planet. No one telling us that. Well, I think sometimes the aviation industry's contribution is over-amplified, to be honest with you. And you know, if you take a screenshot of London or Dublin and you see all these yellow, you know, on flight radar or something, and you see all these yellow planes, the reality is, the fact is, and these are indisputed facts, that the aviation industry in its total produces about 2% of man-made sort of CO2 problems. And in terms of transport in total, aeroplanes, the aviation industry contributes about 12%. Now, we might view aeroplanes as, you know, if we can get to go on holiday or to visit a relation, but in a lot of countries, America and elsewhere, you know, they are transport, you know, the transport from one place to another for just regular business, hop on, hop off, almost. And I suppose when in that context, you know, when they're contributing 12% overall, cars are 74%. It's not really that much, is it? And I think, as I say, sometimes there's an over-focus on it. 2% of all sort of CO2, bad CO2 man-made, comes from the aviation industry, and much of that traffic is not holidays as well. It's, as I say, people commuting, but also transporting, you know, shopping, goods, all that kind of stuff as well. So it's 2% overall, and it's 12% in terms of traffic, which is not, I don't know, is that as much or as little, or did you know it? Maybe you knew it already. But anyway, all right, now, Wellness Wednesday. Our guest is Kevin Dunleavy. We're speaking about giving back. Kevin does that. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Greg.
It's great to have you with us. Right, tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement with the volunteer driver service. Like, why did you decide to get involved, Kevin? At what stage of your sort of life were you at, and you thought, right, this is what I want to do?
That's the Irish Cancer Society Volunteer Driver Service. I got involved last year, the beginning of 2020, when the pandemic hit. I heard a call going out for drivers because the older drivers had to, if I use that terrible word, cocoon, that was the word they were using at the time, so they couldn't, they were a bit short of drivers, and I thought, why not? And I looked up how to do it. Actually, the first people I got in touch with was the Volunteer Centre in Letterkenny, who, through them, they put me in touch with the Irish Cancer Society. And I thought, why not do it? It was something good to give to the community, and I had the time to do it.
And you were like, 5K restriction? What 5K restriction? When we were down to the 5K restriction, it was great for me when I did start driving, because I could get out and about, and my wife was fed up with me cooking all the dinners at home, so I thought, well, let her cook for a change. So I got out and about, And were you nervous about it? Had you done have you done driving before, or anything sort of where you sort of work with the public, you sort of have to chat and all that kind of stuff? Is that something that you had in your any previous careers, Kevin?
Well, I suppose I've always been able to chat a bit, but no, I wasn't really, because I was, the Irish Cancer Society, they put me at ease. They put you at ease when they talk to you about what's involved in the driving. And I know there's different times now with the COVID. We just, the person I drive sits in the back seat on the passenger side, and we both wear masks in the car. So no, I don't go into the hospital or anything like that. So no, I wasn't really concerned about it.
And when you were sort of out and about with your volunteer driving, did you find yourself doing other stuff for other people as well? Because of course you were quite mobile around the country. Were people saying, "Look, could you do this for me? Could you do that for me, Kevin?" Is that how?
Well, I was, yeah. There was a few times people found out that I was going to Letterkenny or going to Sligo, and could you pick up a part for me tractor, or there was different bits and pieces that obviously things they couldn't get locally, and they couldn't travel really outside their 5K limit or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did. There was a few occasions where I was chauffeuring bits and pieces around in the bit of the car. Yeah.
And it sounds like you were happy to contribute, to help.
Oh, absolutely. It's very satisfying.
And the reason we're speaking...
and for myself.
Yeah, and the reason we're speaking to you, and the reason we're speaking to Kevin, is that volunteer drivers are required for the Irish Cancer Society, and we're going to explain a little bit later on how you can get involved, but we're trying to give you an insight into what the role involves. So how often do you... I presume it depends on availability, Kevin, but, how often are you on the road? How often do you help out? What's your average week, for example?
Well, for me personally, if I'm free a day and nothing going on, I'll put my name down for a drive. We get an email every day with all the drives all over Ireland. So obviously, I'll only be doing drives in Donegal. So if I'm available on a day, I'll say I'm available for that drive or whatever. Now, when you do sign up to be a driver, they would expect you to do 2 drives a month.
Mm-hmm.
We only drive on weekdays. We don't drive at weekends. So 2 days a month is what would be expected of you if you sign up.
And is it from someone's house to the hospital, from hospital to hospital, or what kind of journeys do you be doing, Kevin?
Yeah, it's people who are undergoing chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
So we pick up the person at their house. We'll be given the time to pick them up and drop them at the hospital, and then expect a call from them when they're finished, or from the nurse in the hospital to pick them up when they're ready and drop them back at home.
Now,
so just one drive in a day. Yeah.
And you're talking to people, and everyone deals with things differently, Kevin, but you're talking to people at a very important part of their lives. Is there, I don't know if the word would be honour, or is there something special about being a part of such an important part of another person's life?
I suppose you do feel good at the end of the day when you drop somebody home after a successful drive. But people themselves are so positive. Everybody that I've driven is so positive about their... they don't actually talk much about their treatment. We talk about everything else apart from treatment, usually. So it's very, I've met some great characters and during the drives and continue to do so. Even if you get a new drive, the people are great. They have all sorts of interests, as I have as well. So I can talk to them about that. So it's great for them as well.
Yeah, and good for you too, and not just you, because for whomever is involved in volunteer driving with the Irish Cancer Society, or whoever is thinking about doing it. It's like any form of volunteering, Kevin. The person who's volunteering gets a lot back themselves too.
Absolutely. As I said, the positivity of the people I drive and, some of the great stories and great yarns we would have. And, I've actually even, people are so happy people are, first of all, very happy that they have a driver. It's not everybody that's going through cancer treatment know that there is that service available to them, that they can be picked up from home. And when they do then find out about that service, it's very relieving for them because, for example, I will call the person, I'll get my booking and I'll call them 2 days before the drive. And so, they're at ease that they know there's somebody coming to pick them up, take them to the hospital and take them back because, depending on their treatment, they mightn't be well enough to drive, but I think they're recommended not to drive on the day of chemotherapy anyway. So, yeah.
And it's just another thing, it's a thing they don't have to worry about as well. It's just something,
exactly.
They've got their mind focused in other areas. You's fix that for them, that one worry about transport. They don't have to worry about that.
That's right, because their family, they may have family members, but they have to go to work and they have to, they have lives to live as well. So it's just nice, it's nice to be able to give them that peace of mind.
Now, in practical terms, you use your own vehicle. It has to be obviously fully compliant with the rules, road regulations and what have you. What's the story there, Kevin?
Yeah, as long as you have to have a roadworthy car and obviously, insured and NCT tested and, just a safe car to drive. And, that's all you need.
And do you have to inform your insurance company that you're doing this? Or?
Yes, I did inform the insurance company and they said that was fine just once I informed them. It didn't cost me anything extra. It just, as long as I informed them I do that, they were quite happy with that.
And you have to have your licence obviously in place, your insurance,
obviously,
your NCT.
Yes.
And in terms of the fuel costs, because obviously some people might want to do this, but they're on the line themselves. Does the Irish Cancer Society cover the fuel costs?
Yeah, they do. They'll cover the fuel costs, and if you have to wait a few hours, which the waiting time can be different for everybody, but they'll give you a subsidy for something to eat as well while you're waiting, So, it's covered that way. Covered that because the Irish Cancer Society, they only get 3% of their income from the government, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So they depend on donations and everything else for.
But a lot of people too, and Kevin, a lot of people in this county particularly, there's lots of causes and people looking for assistance, and they don't have the money themselves necessarily to spare to contribute. And it's things like this that you can do if you want to, but you don't have the spare cash to sort of be able to donate here and there. This is a donation mostly of your time, and it's a very, very significant donation that that anyone who has the vehicle and the time can do.
Exactly. It's and there are lots of volunteer organisations throughout Donegal, throughout Ireland, but this is one I just felt that I was suited for, if you might say that, and it just got me out and about. And since I started it, I've been all over the best county in Ireland, Donegal. So and just love being out and about and doing something good at the same time.
Yeah, you really are. And I'm sure wee bonds are formed as well too if you happen to regularly pick people up, Kevin.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, we have some great fun in the car with different people. I've actually had one gentleman, we talked, he loved music, as I do as well. And on the way back from Letterkenny to home, We sang a song each in the car.
Is that carpool karaoke? Your own version of it?
You could call it that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good job it wasn't recorded, though.
Oh, come on. It would be brilliant if it was recorded. It sounds fantastic, Kevin. So you've got a lot out of this. And the reason, as I say, it's about encouraging others, if it suits them, to get involved in this. And it's clear that you're getting quite a bit back from this as well, Kevin, in how you feel and what you feel that you're doing.
Absolutely, and Donegal, we're short. There are short of drivers now in Donegal, especially the coastal area around Donegal and around the Letterkenny area as well. Basically, anywhere in Donegal. And if people want to, will I tell you where they can get in touch?
Yeah, go ahead and do that, and I'll remind at the end as well.
Yeah, there's the easiest way to get in touch is just go online and go on to cancer.ie and volunteer. So you'll get all the details there, or drop them an email, volunteer@irishcancer.ie.
And the minimum really is, 2 days, 2
weekdays.
2 week. That's exact. Couldn't think of the term. Yeah. 2 weekdays a month.
That's what they would like you to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can do more. I mean, I suppose since I started, I've probably done an average of 1 drive a week. Since I started. So, that was May 2020. So, I've probably done over 80 drives at this stage.
Brilliant. Well done. It's fantastic. And again, it's sort of like people don't maybe not even realise it's going on. It's a brilliant thing. Fair play to you, Kevin.
Yeah. There's also another thing. A lot of people don't realise maybe that service is available, and people can call if you have any concerns about cancer or the driving. Just call the free number 1-800-200-700. That's more for the people who have any questions about cancer.
Yes, okay. Kevin, listen, a brilliant advocate for the society and for the service. I appreciate it. I'll recap for people, but it's a big thumbs up for you. You'd strongly recommend it.
Thank you very much. I would indeed. It's a very satisfying thing to do.
Okay, fantastic. Lovely to speak to you. Lovely man there, obviously, Kevin Dunleavy. He's involved now since 2020 with the volunteer driver service with the Irish Cancer Society, because as we know, it eases the strain of travel on cancer patients. Many often find it hard to get to hospital because of transportation costs, or they might not be feeling well enough to drive themselves because of their treatment, or maybe they don't want to be impacting on everybody's lives around them. Some people sort of want to be able to do much of this themselves for whatever is needed. Volunteers need to be available for 2 weekdays, 2 full weekdays each month, have a roadworthy car, a valid driving licence, insurance and NCT. The service is completely free for patients, and volunteers receive money from the Irish Cancer Society to pay for their fuel costs, roll tolls where it's applicable, not as much up this part of the world, and there's an allowance for food while waiting on the patient. And they say that more than ever in Donegal now, they urgently need to recruit more volunteer drivers so they can continue to provide this incredibly important service to anyone who might need it. So they're encouraging anyone who may meet the requirements or to volunteer to get in touch with them. And how do you do so again? You go onto their website, www.cancer.ie/volunteer-driver.service, but there'll be a link there for you to follow, or email volunteer@irishcancer.ie. And if you want to contact the support line, this is not now to volunteer, but this is just in case you have any questions or concerns, or you need someone to talk to as it relates to cancer. 1-800-200-700. And hopefully, and I'm sure that at least one person listening to this today will go, you know what, Kevin's doing that, I can do that. And I really hope that's the case, because it's amazing. This is the real Ireland. This is what we do. We help each other, and I didn't know Kevin did that. He batters away at that like many, many others do, and that is the real community, real care for each other.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
My name is Roisin Geller, and I am an NCBI Radio Bingo winner.
Thank you, Roisin, and all our bingo players for supporting the National Council for the Blind. When you're in, you can win. Start playing today. Visit highlandradio.com for more information.
Concerts are back. Join me, David James, for a Night of the Stars in concert on Thursday the 2nd of December in the Strand Hotel, Ballyliffin, featuring Robert Mazzell, Patrick Feeney, Trudy Lawler, Jim Devine and Shauna McStravis. Tickets €20, available from hotel reception or by phoning 074 937 6107. A Night of the Stars in concert Thursday the 2nd of December, the Strand Hotel, Ballyliffin.
In this week's RTE Guide, dig out your Christmas jumper as we chat with Ryan ahead of the Late Late Toy Show. In his new series, My Bungalow Bliss, Hugh Wallace helps owners transform their humble single stories. Plus your free Christmas gift guide with ideas for everyone on your list. Everything and more. RTE Guide, on sale now.
New this week in Home Store and More. All our Christmas table linen is half price. Time to get Christmas ready with festive patterns for the table that is at the heart of every home. But better hurry, because when all our half-price Christmas table linen is gone, it's gone. Also, all Christmas tree lights are still half price. But when all our half-price Christmas tree lights are gone, they're definitely gone. So order online before 2 p.m. today for next day delivery, or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
At Cooney's, we have quality suites, chairs, tables, beds and mattresses all at fantastic value. If you see it, you can buy it and we'll deliver to your door in time for Christmas. Call into Cooney's at Letterkenny Retail Park.
The day has finally arrived. Some say the most important one of the year. Tesco's Christmas home delivery and free click and collect slots are now open to book. This Christmas, nothing's stopping us. So give yourself a little help this year and book yours today at tesco.ie. Book early. Slots will be going faster than, well, Santa's sleigh on Christmas Eve. Tesco. Every little helps.
At Boots, our biggest ever Black Friday event is now on, with a whole month packed full of amazing deals. This week, get better than half-price savings on big electrical brands like Oral-B and Braun. Plus, many more offers available now in-store and online. Boots, bags of joy. Selected stores offers end 30th November. See boots.ie for details.
Join us in Donegal Town this Christmas for a special Christmas extravaganza. 100 plus boutique stores, discounts galore, late opening. Capture the festive atmosphere at the Donegal Town shopping spree, Friday the 3rd and Saturday the 4th of December.
Business Matters in association with the LYIT Faculty of Business. Do you want to learn how to tap into unprecedented opportunities in the food and drink industry? Then join our higher diploma in Food Product Innovation and Enterprise. This course is 100% online and co-funded by Donegal Local Enterprise Office. Visit lyit.ie for more information.
It is Wednesday, which means Highland Radio's Business Matters podcast is out. It's available for you right now. Its presenter is Ciaran O'Donnell. Just a reminder for you, by the way, that you can watch this programme 3 hours per day, midweek, on our Facebook page, Highland Radio News and Sport, or Highland Hub, or on YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland. And you can interact with us there, as many of you have. Good morning to Ciaran, DJ, Audrey, Ewan, Sarah, Annie, Patrick and all the rest of you commenting and interacting with us. And you get to look at Ciaran O'Donnell now, so sorry about that. But anyway, sure, it was all going well. And so
it's only once a week for 10 minutes, Greg.
No, don't worry.
Look at you every day for 3 years.
A lot of people. I keep the camera off myself, which is possible. Right now, okay, Atlantic Technological University.
Yes.
No joke, April the 1st next year. Tell us about this.
I heard you referring to the date as well yesterday. Yeah, Letterkenny Institute of Technology, along with its partners GMIT and IT Sligo, will be known as Atlantic Technological University as of April the 1st, 2022. So this name was chosen following an independent process of engagement by marketing and brand consultant company McCann, who conducted surveys and online consultation with staff, students and stakeholders across the region and nationally. So this new TU, Greg, will offer almost 600 academic programmes from pre-degree to doctoral level to a student population of 20,000 plus students, supported by over 2,200 staff. So look, Letterkenny, or the LYIT has 2 campuses, obviously one here, one in Killybegs. It has over 5,000 students this year in its intake, and it has an increase of 43%, I read somewhere yesterday, over the last 7 years.
And it'll probably be known more commonly as ATU, won't it?
Something like that.
That's what happens. It's nice, it's nice. It is what it is. It's at Atlantic Technological
ATU
University. It is where it is, isn't it? Right, now, council supports for businesses during the COVID.
Yeah, a total of €23.3 million was paid out to Donegal businesses through the COVID-19 Business Restart Grants in 2020. That's according to an audit of Donegal County Council for the year ended December the 31st last.
Right. Pay rise on the cards for local councillors. It's a controversial one. There are some big advocates for this. It's a tough enough old job. They get around 18 grand, I think, at the moment. A lot of people do it as a full-time job. Others don't. But what's the news anyway?
Yeah, Donegal's 37 county councillors will get a pay raise, as you say, of €8,000 next year. So their pay grade for serving on the council is known as representational payment, and it will increase from €18,707 per year to just over €26,000 per year.
Would you do it?
You would need that and a whole lot more to along with. I think it's quite a thankless job at times, and I think I'm a big believer and a big supporter of democracy. And sometimes if people feel that they're not happy or they think that they can change or do something better, there's always the option of putting themselves before the people.
Yeah, for sure. New jobs for Goodor?
Yeah, OCO Global, which has offices in Dublin and Belfast, is set to recruit trade and investment analysts at the GTech Hub in Goodor. So the international trade investment consultant firm plans to establish a base in Donegal to facilitate its continued expansion into the Irish market, and the move will see the company operate from GTech Hub in Goodor, which is part of a network of rural digital hubs run by Udrus na Gaeltachta. So good news there for Goodor.
For sure. Now, local sports clubs. There's relatively low range, per application, but a significant fund nonetheless. It will certainly tick some boxes for some, Ciaran.
Very much. It's just the last call out, Greg. Donegal sports clubs, community groups and sports volunteers have an opportunity to avail of government funding being allocated under the Sport Ireland's Let's Get Back campaign. So online applications will close tomorrow, Thursday, November the 26th, and the funding, 25th. And the funding amounts will range from €100 to €1,500.
Yeah, and details activedonegal.com, isn't it?
Yeah, as you say, look, small amounts, Greg, mean a whole lot to community groups and sports clubs. So if there's an option there for clubs to sort of get a lot of help, they should check it out.
The money's there, and each club is as entitled as the next to apply for it. Right, I think sometimes us moving online and lockdown has just really been shook the money tree for cyber criminals, and we talk about it individually in your bank account, and someone might have 300 quid and it's emptied out, and it's huge, but this is a huge business for these criminals.
Yeah, cybercrime cost the Irish economy €9.6 million in 2020, and that's according billion. That's according to new research by Grant Thornton. So ransomware attacks alone and the cost of fixing them amounted for €2 billion of that total, with computer viruses accounting for 1.3 billion and phishing 1 billion. So overall, the study claims that there was a 50% increase in online crime in Ireland in 2020.
And you can see how they adapt, why they want to make it so clever, how they come up with the technology to get that text into your AIB or Bank of Ireland or Ulster Bank thread. You can see how they have the time and money to invest in how to extort companies and all that kind of stuff. This is big money.
Greg, you've discussed this a number of times, and I've had a couple of guests on my show, and that's what they specialise in. But I was really taken back by your Garda.
Garda Grania, yeah.
I mean, she did all the right things. She didn't take any chances. And her account and her affairs were interfered with and taken out. So it just shows you how specialised and how advanced they are.
For sure. It's worrying. We have to be on our guard. Yeah. Right, we're in conversation with Ciaran O'Donnell. He is the producer and presenter of the Business Matters podcast. It's available for you right now on our website and on Spotify and iTunes. We're going to be previewing what's coming up on the show after we take this short break.
Today's 9 till noon show is brought to you in association with Ulster Tyres. Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Do you need a little extra help staying in your home? At Bluebird Care, we offer a wide variety of QMark approved personalised home care services across Donegal. And our fully trained and committed staff will always meet your care needs with kindness, compassion and dignity. To get your personal home care assessment plan, visit bluebirdcare.ie or call our care team today on 07491 29562 and bring care home. At At Aldi, we've got hundreds of passionate, award-winning suppliers all over Ireland. Fancy a pre-Christmas tour? First, Clorhead and Morgan's Fine Fish for those juicy, specially selected Dublin Bay prawns. Next, Roaring Water Bay for Dan Hickey's specially selected fresh free-range goose. Finally, to Tipperary for Ireland's Christmas product of the year, Jim O'Dwyer's specially selected exquisite roast rib of beef. Aldi, the best of Ireland brought home to your table for Christmas.
Letterkenny Shopping Centre is where real Christmas begins. Get everything you need for the festive season with a wide range of gifts, food and services. Park for free, have a browse, grab a coffee and actually enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Thank you for visiting Letterkenny Shopping Centre this Christmas.
An bhfuil post luach for phone to wet. Begar géad den áireamh eile siúil an abron gohíle sa fihedó, agus teastíon órathirí den áireamhain I docheantar. Más féidir leat uaireanta solúpa a aibbrú, agus más míon leat suas le €3,200 a hiilimh, as obair de seachtaine. Tuair cuairt centus.ie inis, chun iarratas I dhéanamh.
Starting from Monday the 22nd of November, Letterkenny Driving Range has a one-week Black Friday special with 20% off all stock. Yes, golf clubs, bags, balls, clothing and accessories. If it's in store, it's on offer, but only while stocks last. Letterkenny Driving Range, where the real golfers go.
Every home needs that something special. At Max Light Lighting, that's exactly what we can do for your home. High quality, stylish interior lighting and illuminated mirrors at exceptional value. See maxlight.ie or call into Callahan Electrical in Letterkenny Retail Park and see a selection of our lights that will give your home that wow factor.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels Letterkenny. For a keen price on your home heating oil, call National Fuels on 9137 400.
So a mix of sunny spells and scattered showers today. Feeling cold with afternoon temperatures of 5 to 7 degrees in light to moderate northwest winds and increasing strong at times on coast. Now, tonight there'll be clear spells and a good deal of dry weather. Those scattered showers will feed in from the north. Another cold night, temperatures 0 to 3 degrees generally, though it will be less cold near coasts with temperatures 4 or 5 degrees. But your reward for living near those coasts, warmer temperatures but stronger winds, moderate to fresh northwesterly in direction. We're in studio with Ciaran O'Donnell, Business Matters podcast, as we said to you, online for you right now. It'll be on air for you on Sunday. We'll remind you about that a little later on. So what's coming up on the programme this week, Ciaran?
Yes, Greg, my guest this week on Business Matters is John Woolley McNulty from Ballybofey, who set up JW McNulty Painting and Decorators Limited in the 70s in Donegal, having served his time as an apprentice painter in Coventry. So that while the family business is now headed up by John Woolley's son Patrick, John Woolley is still involved in a consulting capacity. The honorary president of the Master Painters and Decorators of Ireland since 2006, John Woolley is famously known as the Donegal man who painted Croke Park. So John Woolley recalled how he got the contract to paint the GA's headquarters.
I had done a project in Dublin, Our Lady's Hospice. It was the first project that I had done for the biggest construction company in Ireland, which is SUS. And they won a building award for it. And we happened to be one of their subcontractors in the finishing trade. And they were delighted with what my people had done. So the project manager there went to Croke Park. And he nearly insisted that he brought us with him. So... And the proof of the pudding is we're still working for them 40 years down the road, you know, in that sense. But yeah, that got it off the ground. I suppose I'm renowned now in Dublin circles as the man that painted Croke Park, you know. And as a Donegal man, it's a great thing. And to be more of a soccer man than a Gaelic man, it was quite unique in that sense.
Quite the admittance there, isn't it? Yeah. He's more of a maybe more of a Finn Harr supporter than the other. But anyway, listen, that's another one of these stories that's about business, but it's about the person behind the business as well. And that is, he is a very interesting character, interesting person, Ciaran.
Yeah, look, he went over to England when he was a teenager, and he worked with one of the leading companies in Coventry. And when he came back, he saw how things were done well, and he wanted to do the same thing when he came back to his own country, basically. Started out small, earned a very good reputation, And look, he's still going. He's still in great shape. He's up every morning. He's telling me at 7 o'clock up in Finn Valley Gym, and he keeps active. And look, he's had a good life work-wise, and he's handed it on now to his son Patrick, and he's still there as he says in a consultant capacity.
To keep any company going for 40 odd years is some achievement.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and I suppose he's extremely passionate about his trade, and that was the one thing that struck me. And he's gone on giving talks into young people, and he's a huge supporter and advocate of the apprentice process. And he was very inspiring, and I'm sure he'd been a great man to work for, listening to him. And the one thing he said for the many people that he had working for him, and he had a list actually of those people that he had written down when I talked to him. They all had very much mutual respect for each other. He trusted them, they trusted him, and I think that was one of the main reasons that John's business has been successful.
Yeah, another huge success story, and it's not just the company, it's the person behind the company. That's John Willie McNulty. The full interview available as part of that podcast right now. You can get it on our website, highlandradio.com, and on Spotify and iTunes there if you subscribe. And the full back catalogue must be pushing 70 at this stage, if not beyond.
Next week will be 70, yeah.
70 next week. They're all there available for you to listen back on. And if you want to listen to it as a scheduled programme on the radio, Ciaran?
Yeah, after the 6 o'clock news on Sunday evening.
And if anyone wants to get in contact with you?
Yeah, just drop an email, please. businessmatters@highlandradio.com.
All right, great stuff, and it's great to get these stories on the record as well. Ciaran, as always, ta-ta for now. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Greg. Thank you.
All right, Ciaran O'Donnell there. Website, highlandradio.com, Spotify, iTunes. It's all there for you right now. Some of your comments as we head towards the last 10 minutes of today's programme. Greg, you're right. We Irish people need to stop blaming one another and call out the ones who are not doing enough. Indeed, be accountable. You know, everyone needs to be accountable. I think we've been accountable, us as a population. Hi, Greg. Just listening to your show here and listening to Andrew McGinley, and it's heartbreaking to hear what this man has gone through. His family were ripped away from him, and his only platform to highlight this fundraiser to tens and hundreds of thousands of people has been ripped away. I can read between the lines and know that it's obviously someone very close to the tragedy. However, to deny this opportunity is terrible. Like he said, have they come to him, he would have invited them to come along, and if anything was painful, he would edit it out. My feeling is they don't want to look they don't want to look a certain way on one of the biggest TV shows of the year. It's an Irish taboo, they say. Personally, I'll not be watching the Late Late, and if you have any feeling for Andrew and what he went through, you will boycott it also. Yeah, okay, I get you. It's a tough decision all round there. Good morning, Greg. Well done on saying that we the people have all done our bit. Now let the government step up and protect our schools and hospitals, etc. Another, what is the man talking about weddings? We have to stop this nonsense about vaxxed versus unvaxxed. He wasn't talking about vaxxed or not. I was mentioned that to point out that I would imagine that anyone organising a wedding is conscious of that now. And if people are unvaxxed, maybe they do antigen tests. I don't know what the story is, but I know I'm confident that no one's organising a wedding now to tear up the rule book and throw caution to the wind. They're operating and doing what they are doing within the guidelines, within the laws. But this caller goes on to say that the science shows no difference in viral load, both catch and spread. That's not strictly true either. And you know, there's big differences between how long you have the viral load, when it peaks, how likely you are to catch it versus how you pass it on. You are quoting a study there which was focused on homes where close contacts of people were vaxxed and unvaxxed in a close contact. It's sleeping beside someone, for example. It doesn't work, that study, in the real world. I'm not contradicting you, but I just think when we are talking about this, we have to need to know what we're talking specifically about, and that was a study that was done specifically in homes. But this caller then goes on to say, to stop the divide, I wonder why they want to wait 55 years to produce results. They say there's so much paperwork and there's so few people to work on it that they would do 500 or 600 documents a week or a month or something, and that's how it would take 55 years, because there's so few of them to do it, you know. Whether it's to hide stuff or not, people will make up their own minds, but they say it's a workload situation. Greg, in my humble opinion, the wearing of face covering should be compulsory indoors. A lot of people have become very complacent about wearing masks, and I think it's a major way out of the pandemic. It is what the NEFIT say is one of the core barriers we have. And it's quite simply this. If I have COVID, and it's not much more complicated than this. If I've got COVID, right, the stuff comes out of my nose and my mouth. And if I'm speaking to Ciaran there and he's next to me and I'm coughing and spluttering or just chatting away, I'm spouting this stuff out and he's inhaling it. It's pretty disgusting, but that's the reality. For the time I would have to, which is very limited, wear a mask. It just keeps that spit and snotters. And as I said, I'm not being disgusting, but that's what it comes down to in my space and not out there. It's pretty basic, but look, some people see wearing a mask like wearing a dog collar or a saddle or chain, a ball and chain. I see we're in Dublin. A chunk of public land has been gifted to private developers with the help of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Green Party, Labour and perhaps some independents. Are we really surprised at the crazy price of housing and rental, they say? More of your comments coming in. Thank you for those. I can't understand the government said if you're at a disco before 12 noon you won't get COVID, but after 12 you will. A load of crap. Even Tony Hoolan's admitted that that's not going to make much difference in and of itself. They think it'll discourage some people from going to discos, change the public mindset. It's never really been about, reducing people's interactions. It's to change people's habits. They go, right, so they're closing pubs at 12. I'll not go to that Christmas party. Or they're closing pubs at 12. I'm going to cancel that booking we had down in Galway. That's what happens. Clearly it doesn't take a brain surgeon to work out. I presume brain surgeons are pretty clever. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that they're going to have the nightclubs earlier. It's the same thing. It's about changing mindset, I suppose. In 2021, Ireland had I think this is saying two's information here. In 2001, Ireland had 22,658 hospital beds. In 2021, we have 14,000. In that 20 years, our population grew by 1 million. Or 25%. There's massive pressure on our health service. When the government say we are where we are, it's because we've gutted the health service. Now is the time to build up hospital capacity. I believe you've taken those stats, I could be mistaken, from Padertobin. Listen, you can compare 20 years ago, and rightly so, and I'm not in any way discrediting that. The bottom line is this: we have fewer ICU beds than any developed country, except Sweden and New Zealand. We're bottom of the pile, and we've done very, very little over the last 2 years compared to where we need to be to address that. So we have 130 people in hospital, ICU, with COVID, and we wish them a full and speedy recovery. Sadly, unfortunately, the statistics show that 1 in 4 of those people will pass away. That is very, very sad. We have 130 people in ICU today as we speak. That is 50%, bar the shouting, of our entire capacity. And that is enough to see that and the other people that are in hospital, and others are getting quite invasive treatment as well, to stop surgeries, to stop cancer appointments, to stop other activities in the hospital. Surely our health service should be able to accommodate that amount of people. The vaccine has done a great job, clearly, compared to last January, in that there were almost 3,000 people in hospital. The figure much, much lower now, and we have a full open society for quite some time. Is it COVID or is it the hospitals now at this point? 086 60 25,000. I won't get to your comment today, but we can talk about it tomorrow. John Bresson's coming up for you around the Northwest after the news at 12 with Catherine, I believe. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. From me, Greg Hughes, and Michaela Clark, who researched and produced the programme today. Enjoy the rest of your wedding day.